I don't need to be told. I don't know about you or anybody else, but I only need to be told just a couple of times that you don't care about what I think in order for me to decide to accept that. Okay. Okay, Governor Christie. Okay, Mayor Jackson. Okay, City Council. I accept that you do not care about what I think and how I feel and what your decisions have done to affect me. I accept that. So at this point now, I have to rethink, how do I get my message out? And the way I rethink the way I get my message out is that I don't go through you. Like, I do not come to the. I know that I cannot. I will not go. I know now, based on what he's led me to think. Yep. I know now not to go to him to be heard. Go straight to the people.
I can really. And, this isn't. We're not broadcasting.
Yes,
now.
we are. Yes,
we
are.
Broadcasting?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
live from Trenton, New Jersey. It's SativaCross.com.
Sneak attack.
Sorry, we're late.
A sneak attack podcast. What if I didn't want to be on the air?
Sorry.
You got to say you're on.
You're on the air.
You're on the air.
Live every
you got to
Thursday.
say it quick, because sometimes you're making a phone call. You go, "Hi, you're on the air." And you go, "You're on the air."
This is the Ignorance is No Excuse show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Sorry. Go ahead. Continue, Jim. Sorry.
Well, we're still setting up. Gonna get headphones on. We're gonna just recap yesterday a little bit, and we have guests this morning. We'll start out with pretty early because he's here, and what I'm going to want to do, this has to do, this isn't your official beginning. Hi, you're on the air here. Coalition for Medical Marijuana, 501c3 nonprofit charitable organization in good standing in the state of New Jersey for over a decade, brings to you the SativaCross Telling It Like It Is podcast live from the State House steps. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, because when I refer to you, as I talk to people, as someone I would like the staff to meet, I wanted to get your credentials, for lack of a better word, what you would like people to know. I mean, your name, time and service, where.
Actually,
all of that.
I thought about that. Actually.
Well, first of all, if left here I was going to introduce you, we'd like to do it properly rather than you have this.
Understood.
You're seeing behind the scenes here, by the way. This is this is something we could have done earlier, but
sorry. And
we had a broadcast yesterday. We're running a little slow today.
I was arrested yesterday. I was in handcuffs after I left here, so I got to tell you about that too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was in handcuffs.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start off with that.
But you guys go. I'll tell you about that in a minute.
I brought this for you and Lefty, so that this is all the things that I say.
Right into the mic.
I'm sorry, I brought these so that all the things that I say
is
this is a visual way for me to give you a chronological order.
Yeah, this is what you want to bring to a meeting with staff. And make sure, like you did with me yesterday, one to hold on to, feel the weight.
Yeah. And also
these, by the way, if you can't really see on camera, these are military service medals. And what we're talking about is someone who has served his country beyond admirably and would like to be heard concerning post-traumatic stress and how cannabis can help. He can be the one to help you understand a little bit, but I got to tell you, like anybody should tell you, you never will understand. And when we talk a little later on, this is just a warm-up here. I'm really quite taken back by these. When we get to talking in a little while, then I'll get comfortable while Lefty explains how yesterday he and
I brought 15.
I gotta say, Amaris, and you got arrested. No, not handcuffed, not arrested. Handcuffed. Okay, we'll hear about that. That's a little teaser. I hate when they do that in the movies. We'll tell you why. They always do that to tell you something you need to know to save your life. We'll tell you at 10 o'clock.
The cliffhanger.
Yeah, right.
What?
Why you shouldn't go outside tonight. We'll tell you more later. I'm like, tell me now. You took twice as much time telling me why you
Stay tuned.
Talk. So, yeah, we're getting started late. This is our third podcast this year from the State House steps after 33 last year. So this is podcast number 36. Haven't missed a Thursday yet. Hey, William, if you wouldn't mind putting Dan, some tape around the speakers to the tent thing, we're moving. Come on now, don't make me explain that to you. It's pretty easy. Daniel Brady's in the house, our resident guitar player when we get him in his guitar down here. Anyway, as anybody that ever listens or watches would know, post-traumatic stress is something that we're very passionate about, and more so now that last year it came close to being able to get to the governor's desk to see what would happen. Now, while people say he's never going to sign it, and on April 13th he did say that we're done adding new indications to our bill, and why, we'll get to that later. But he's wrong about that. He's done signing bills. Doesn't mean we're wrong getting indications added. He's used up a lot of his political capital to where Republicans who know he's wrong about that might be a little more willing to take part in an override vote. So if the governor wants to stake his reputation and legacy on getting kicked in the butt on the way out, veto the law against adding post-traumatic stress for American military veterans who commit suicide at the rate of 22 per day, one every 80 minutes, and the civilian population, which, as you were saying yesterday, outnumbers. So post-traumatic stress in the civilian population, you don't see as much, and it might be harder to understand. The best example I can think of is, and this is a true example, a young girl finding her mother hanging, and didn't have the strength to hold her up. Yeah, that'll give you post-traumatic stress, and it did for her. But it's veterans who, what gets me is, and you know it, that you get thank you for your service like how are you, fine, how are you. You can demonstrate thank you for your service, and you can say it. I can say anything I want. Presidential candidates are proving like you can say whatever you want. If you say it enough, people believe you, and it almost becomes true. But the fact is that you can't fix a suicide. If there was something wrong with adding post-traumatic stress, it would become evident, and it could be stricken from the law because of the problem. But if you don't add it, veterans that kill themselves that might have benefited from it might not have done so if the law was passed. That's the stark reality.
Can I ask a question? Is this something? What everything you're speaking of, is this something that is being actively spoken about with the state?
Oh, absolutely.
I asked that because I'm
I'm
new to being in New Jersey.
You're looking at a new tandem here. We're going to be like Batman and Robin, and I'm going to be Robin. He's Batman. And but the thing is, I know who needs to hear it. I know how probably to get you there, and I know how to let you know what they already know, what they don't, without getting into the minutia. I mean, you spoke brilliantly in front of a crowd yesterday. I'm assuming your intuition is going to already tell you that it's a little less of a way of presentation in an office for an aide, because people want to say, I want to speak to the governor. I want to speak to his aides. You know why? Because his aides can hear everything I say and go back to the governor and go, whoa, that was hard. And why?
They're the best tool to explain the magnitude of whatever his decision would be.
And there's no knee-jerk reaction. You talk to the governor's mind when you don't want to hear what he has to say till you know that somebody he trusts understands what you're saying. Those people you can get to. You can talk with them.
It's also you have to understand like the mindset of this particular veteran. And here is these coins that I brought will help to explain, excuse me, my way of thinking.
Yeah, we're gonna. This is awesome because normally a 3-hour podcast sometimes is hard to fill up. And last year the wheels would fall off pretty regular. But it did. I would look at the podcast and say, okay, how much of 3 hours would I want a reporter, for instance, or a legislator to see? And how much would I not want him to see? And it was 1/3 at best would be okay to see, and 2/3 I'd rather not. When we got past 50-50, I thought we're getting somewhere. But this year we tightened it up, and I'm telling you, fully 90% of everything we've podcast in the last 2 and yesterday, I would have no trouble showing anybody because we want the credibility of being able to express not just our opinions, but the opinions of experts who we have connection to.
And observations.
Yeah, but what we can do is open the door without people such as yourself. It's a lot harder. I'm not saying we can't, but if we had open doors for us to express our opinions and what we know and to keep bad things from happening, because we've known when the law was passed where the problems were going to be, and we were right, and it took 6 years to find out in many cases. But we are not really heard, even by our friends. Not really. Because we don't understand, or we're not legit. We don't. You got to make a deal sometimes. I mean, there's things they don't want to say to us because as soon as they tell us, we tell everybody, and they know that. I mean, that's the system. So
you also have to understand there's a thing called a military term we call ROE.
Explain that.
Rules of engagement.
Okay.
And you have a somewhat established ROE, but one that's maybe not as effective as it could be. But here's the good news is that with the public perception towards mainstream national media, when you have a outlet that doesn't conform to that and is actually more reflective of the general population, the more you say things that resonate with folks, the more you get, the more attention and the more listeners you attain. Now here's the thing: there's no way for them to be able to track that. There's no one in this building here that can call the headquarters of NBC or CNN to shut you down.
Right.
They can't do it. But what they've been doing, which is convenient for them, is to ignore you. It's easy.
Yeah. We tried not to make it too easy every Thursday.
No. It's not.
This is why we're here, because that is absolutely true.
Yes. Now, see, here's the thing.
This is our counteraction.
Yeah. You to learn the thinking of this particular man. First of all, for all your listeners, my name is Leo Bridgewater. I was born and raised here in Trenton, New Jersey. I graduated from Trenton Central High School in 1994. I was part of the first 9th grade.
Really?
Yes. And when I graduated from Trenton High, I went to college in Raleigh, North Carolina at St. Augustine's College. And then when 2001 came, 9/11, I enlisted in the United States Army.
And that was what year, 2011?
No, and I'm sorry, 2001. I'm sorry, 2000.
I'm thinking.
9/11.
Too much happened.
I'm getting 9/11 and 2011 confused.
So you enlisted in 2001?
Yeah, I
was
enlisted
it after 9/11?
Yes.
Okay. As a reaction to?
1 November.
Really?
is when my service date started.
Yeah. Good for you.
And I went in my first duty station. I went to basic training at Fort Benning in Georgia, which is the home of the infantry. It's the hardest place to do basic training in the United States Army. It's one of the few places that still doesn't allow women to do basic training because it was infantry. I think things have changed, but at that time,
technically
that was
the
case.
I don't know how it's instituted it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and also Fort Benning is where you go for airborne school and ranger school. Yes, that is where a lot of special operations stuff. That's where your jumping off point.
That's where you started out.
Yes, that is where I started out. Then I went to AIT at Fort Gordon, where I learned to be a microwave operator maintainer.
You're going to have to explain any acronym you use.
Yes, AIT is Advanced Individual Training. It's where you go for training to learn your job. So my job in the Army was signal communications, and it took me literally around the world. Now, what I could do is when I explain all this to you, I want you to pay attention to the name drops.
All right, everybody, pay attention.
Yes, it's going to blow your mind.
I heard a couple.
Believe me.
I've heard a couple yesterday.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah. Oh,
Go
we ain't
ahead.
heard nothing yet.
Oh, really?
We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be
We'll
the
decide.
judge of that.
Look at my face. Not a problem.
Look into my
So,
eyes.
just to give you a quick explanation here.
Yeah.
Well, for a soldier to receive these medals here, these coins, you had to have done something exceptional. And depending on this, you see these stars here, that tells you the rank, the flag, okay? So this coin was presented to me by the Secretary of the Army, Pete Guerin, okay? I did something.
Secretary of the Army.
Yes, Secretary of the Army, yes. I did something that was noteworthy for him to acknowledge me and in such a way that it left an impression. And he wanted to leave an impression on me, so he gave me this coin. It's a tradition. This coin here has 3 stars, so that indicates the rank of the person who gave me. This was given to me by Lieutenant General David Petraeus. I dropped that name yesterday.
That's a big name.
This is someone whom I worked with every day.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
What year was that? I give or take?
This is
'Cause this
2000
before we would have known it.
5. This is 05. I was part of the NATO training mission in Iraq, and my job was to train and help teach the new Iraqi officers. We were standing up their equivalent to West Point. And so we had to teach classes to whatever year those new officers were going to be in. My course was signal. And so we worked directly with them, and which is why I said, when George W. Bush gave the State of the Union address in 2005, it was us he was talking about. And we were actually watching it on TV in NTMI headquarters.
What was the reaction of the people watching?
I remember the colonel said, "Holy, he's talking about us!" And we all did, and everybody did this.
Collectively.
Holy shit! And I remember he kept saying,
Wow.
and Captain Ewart kept saying, "That's us." They're talking about us. The next day we have a VTC and
acronym.
What was that?
Video teleconference.
Oh, okay.
It's when you see the generals talking to each other using video.
Even when we do know what that is,
I still need to explain. Not a
because
problem.
there's
Yes.
people watching there
Yes.
that are.
It's not a problem. Yes, but
and they're probably making up obscene stuff if they don't know.
Yeah, they do.
now,
We got some viewers.
and understand something. During this time frame, I was General Petraeus' main signal guy in NATO because he wore 2 hats. He was he was also working with the. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
He was also.
This is, by the way, spring training for our podcast, so we get to start and stop. It's not like a
okay.
song and you got to go through no matter what happens,
Okay. So
Doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my job was whenever he wore 2 hats. He wore 2 mission hats at the same time. He was the decom for the NATO training mission in Iraq, and he was also in charge of the Ministry of Interior. That side of the, he would bounce back and forth. And so for me, because I would have to be in these briefings, these high-level briefings with him and Admiral Mike Mullins, who was a 4-star admiral at the time.
4-star admiral.
Yes, and mind you, my home station was Joint Forces Command, Naples, Italy.
Joint Forces. Okay, go ahead, everybody. Make your jokes at home here for a second. Serious stuff, but he did say, it's like.
Yeah.
Joint Forces.
Yes, Joint Forces Command, Naples, Italy.
Yeah, we're not. You understand when
I get
we're
it.
not making.
You're not making fun. I get it. Yeah.
Look, I want to make sure you're clear on that because
Remember what I said?
You could hurt me.
I
if
told
you.
And for me, at the time all of this was happening, Dave Petraeus was a 3-star general. I had no idea he would turn out to become, at the end of it all, the director of the CIA, and he had a wonderful career. For me, he was the boss. I saw him every day. You know, I got to see him behind closed doors.
Yeah.
You know, this another coin I got here was from Brigadier General Rick Lynch, who ended up becoming commander of 7th Cav Fort Hood. You know, he retired as a 3-star general.
And he's talking with us today. And after, I know this is going to be, this
again,
is a few steps down, but you know, we appreciate you coming.
No, it's okay. At the time, you know, at the time he was just a 1-star general. I didn't know, none of us knew that he would turn out to be who he became to be. None of us knew Admiral Mullins, you know, great guy. I spoke with him every other day or every 2 days. You know, what I know, and he was the base commander at Naples. And so anytime that man came to visit us in Baghdad, what I remember most about him is he would always say, okay, good to see you. You guys are doing a great job. Now run back to your rooms and go get the stuff that you don't need anymore so I can take it home. No matter what.
Really?
He and when the mission was over and we came back, there was only 7 of us on a C-17 landing in Naples. And when the doors came down, Mike Mullins was standing there waiting on us on the tarmac.
Was he?
We came off that plane. He gave us all big hugs. He brought a car out to come take us. We said, no, we've been on this plane. We'd like to walk. And he said, to heck with it. Let's walk. And we walked all the way back to where they had the families greeting us and all that stuff.
How far? How many clicks? How many clicks?
It was a 4-click walk from the tarp. Good one. Good one. 4 clicks. But these are people that we spoke with on a regular basis. So it was no big deal for us.
Some pretty heady names.
Yeah. Oh, I got more.
Yeah.
I got more. And so, but understand something. You know, these are guys that we could. How you doing, sir?
Yeah.
That type of deal. And hey, Bridge, what you got for me today? That type of thing.
Yeah,
you know.
and in the middle, these are probably all people that when you met, you didn't know how it was going to turn out, and look.
No.
But look at it the other way around. What did they refer to you as?
Bridge.
Bridge, okay.
Because
So
my last
say,
name's
hey,
Bridgewater.
did you hear about Bridge? No, what's going on? Yeah, he's in New Jersey, and he helped get post-traumatic stress added to their law there. What would they think of that?
Here's the thing.
I mean, there's a whole lot of yada yada in between. I hope happens.
I could tell you that I could speculate right now. What I could give you today would be a speculation, but I could actually confirm it for you after I actually talk to him.
We'd appreciate that, you know. I mean, because we are going to have success and we are going to move it, and you know, I'm sure it's like I've seen it happen already. You're going to be integral in getting this bill in and out of the Senate committee, Health Committee, that it got stuck in last year, and I can help you do that. And I have no doubt that you have exactly what people on that committee and the head of the committee, Chairman Vitelli, Senator Vitelli, need to hear. I have absolutely no doubt about that at all. And, you know, I got to tell you, one day we're going to have a system where he could do that and everybody
see
can
it.
see. Yeah, this is
Someday.
I feel like
You know what? Someday he'll be dropping our name, Jim. He'll be dropping our name to people. That
Yeah,
was
right.
on.
Look here, brother man.
They're going to be scratching
your
their
names
heads
was,
going, you know.
I dropped your names yesterday, last night, this morning. I'm already talking about you.
Well, you
I'm
know-
not. You have to understand, by virtue of the positions in which I've held and the things that I have done, I was fortunate enough to be given a front row seat to see how these great men, who ultimately ended up becoming career mentors of mine, you know, the things that were said directly to me privately behind closed doors by these men were for me, and I got to watch them work right in my face. I saw it. I knew everything that they were doing. And so there is a particular mentality and a particular method of doing things that I had become accustomed to based upon the folks that I had worked with. When I finished my service as a soldier in 2006, I immediately started working at the Pentagon. And while I was there, I worked with General Anthony Kukalo, who ended up becoming the commander of 3rd Infantry Division. And then I stayed at the Pentagon for 2 years. And after I left the Pentagon, I went back over to Iraq as a DoD contractor.
That would be 2008?
That would be in the 2008. And then I came back here on a permanent basis in 2012. So this is, today is adding to the longest stretch that I've been in the continental United States. And
which would be about how long?
10 years.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
well, I've been put like this. Out of the last 15 years, I was out of the country for 8 of them.
Wow.
Total. So when I left here, George W. Bush was president of the United States. I watched President Barack Obama give his inaugural speech from Ali Salim in Kuwait.
Wow.
So I missed most of Barack Obama's first term. I was not here for that, and I came back I came back during his second term in these years now. So for me, the transition is twofold, because not only am I getting used to being back in the country, now I have to kind of get used to my surroundings here. When I left Trenton in 1994. From 1994 up until a year and a half, 2 years ago, is when I only came home 4 times. So when someone asks me, "What have you been doing?" This is why.
That's like all
this
in.
Is this yeah. This is
all in.
Yeah. So when someone because and mind you, I just moved back to Trenton, so I'm new to it turns out that
How long ago did you come back to Trenton?
I came back to Trenton. My mom died on Christmas of 2012, and I met my wife the day after her funeral, and we dated for a year and a half. We did the long distance thing, and then I moved back a year. We got married last June, so I moved back a few months before that. So it's been, and what I've been doing for this past year.
Not a long time by.
No, But what I've learned, what I've been doing is a lot of things are shocking to me, in terms of what's happening within my city, and it turns out that the things based on my assessment, because I needed to sit for a year to watch. If you plan to make a change and everything like that, you can't just jump in and start screaming and yelling. You need to sit for a minute and observe and watch and see what's been going on.
We agree. This is a big,
Yeah. And so I've been sitting quiet and learning, because I didn't know that Quaker Bridge Mall doesn't have a movie theater anymore. I didn't know that
Quaker Bridge.
Yeah, I did not know that the train station got remodeled. I had no clue about the gangs. I didn't know that Trenton, New Jersey had broken its murder record just a few years ago.
So it wasn't the same city you came back to?
No, there's buildings that are gone. I mean, there's some things, nothing for nothing. There's some things that I like and I see, but there's there's the bad things.
You didn't just come and sit here and talk about it and do nothing. You're here now talking about it. You're obviously prone to being involved, but a man with a plan. I got to tell you, if I was listening right now, I'd be waiting for the part where we talk about post-traumatic stress and what that means to you, just hearing that.
Well, it means, for me, and for I think any combat veteran, and what I said this yesterday, it's not just taking a year to assess what's happening within my own city, and everything, but just in the state as a whole, and the country as a whole. And there's some things that are happening that I feel like are offensive. I'm offended as a soldier, as a veteran. I am offended, and I think that there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of how folks are approaching it and looking at it and what they say. It was key when you said people just say thank you for your service and they keep it moving. Don't really go beyond that. And so I had 3 friends who attempted suicide and 2 were successful. You know, one I personally had a hand in helping. You know, and I actually I'm sorry for doing this. I wanted to show you guys.
No, you got free reign here. And we appreciate you. It may be easier, especially for most people, to not discuss things that will raise an emotional response in them. And we appreciate you doing that, because that's what's going to help other people who can't do it for themselves. And you know that, but I want to, make sure everybody understands. I'm getting the feeling already everything you do really isn't about you and your particular life and how it affects it as much as everybody else. So
that is correct.
Where can we find another several dozen like you? Well, it really is the hard part.
Let my wife tell it. She say, no, you don't want that.
Yeah. I think we're good, Jim. I think he's good enough. We saw you yesterday speak. I'm like, Jim, we have to get him on the podcast. This guy's wonderful.
Well,
you're inspiring, actually.
Well, thank you
very much.
Thank you.
And the thing is,
look what I'm used to.
Yeah.
It's not that I want to be inspiring. I didn't.
No.
Yesterday was my first time ever.
Check this out. Did you know this?
Yesterday was my very first time ever exercising my right of free speech in a public forum. I've never done it before.
U.S. Constitution, right?
Yeah.
Protect and defend, man.
That's what you fought for.
Yeah.
That Constitution.
Yeah, and I don't. But let me say this too. When I see people who burn flags and stuff like that, on a personal note, it does bother me. But as a soldier, technically, it's exactly what I fought for. I fought for you to have the right to be able to go burn a flag. That is freedom. Freedom isn't always, nice and kind.
Right.
But I just wanted, and I felt the need to be able to say that, because you need to know that there are certain people, such as myself, I like to think I am one of those people who can distinguish between something personal and something that's right. Because a person,
and sometimes they're the same thing. They're not mutually exclusive, but sometimes they are.
And again, so that you can understand my mental frame, the way I process information. I was taught by working with people of this type of caliber.
And that what you then bring that and adapt it to what needs to be done to our state medical marijuana law. It's like we have a quote of times we say the phrase, or medical cannabis each, because we're an on-point podcast this year with good wheels. It's just that you could probably be one of those people that, as you get to know what we've done and how we got to where we are legislatively, actually have something to add in the way of an approach, the same way of trying to get to the same door a different way, but you're know the facts first, make a plan,
and also know it teaches.
Go to the people that can help you when you're making that plan.
Got to identify who could help best serve your means, and how you can manipulate the conditions to get a favorable outcome. Know your strengths and weaknesses, and also if you just be quiet long enough, people will tell you exactly who they are. If you just listen. Which is and it is that methodology that I used is what was behind me saying I can't see myself doing what I just saw 10 other people do. Yell out of buildings.
You know what I also think would be germane to how you would approach things? I think we're probably similar in one direction. I got to tell people that you can't just approach something that you say this is going to be a fairly impossible task, and you can't not try something because you don't think it'll work. If there's a better option, fine, but as opposed to doing nothing, affecting your best plan that you really come up with, regardless of what you think the result might be. It's you got to really focus on the prize and the work in front of you. And what happens is it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because the governor's never going to sign it. So how they don't? Well, yeah.
You gotta put a face to it.
You gotta go
you gotta.
Okay, you know what? He's not going to sign if it doesn't get to his desk. That's 100% certain.
Mm-hmm.
If it's 99% certain he's not going to sign it when it takes to his desk, one, you take that 1% and do the best you can. Two, you turn it into what you can use because there's peripheral ancillary benefits that, Gandhi walked right up to the British troops and said, no, we're not going nowhere. And they got the crap kicked out of them as he knew what happened. But it was the first time that the world media was brought into it in the 1930s. And basically what he did is he went up, got the crap kicked out of him, but was a success. So initial assessment would be
my mom used
a
to
failure,
tell,
right? But it wasn't.
My mom used, when I was growing up, my mom used to make me watch a show called Eyes on the Prize.
I like that.
And if you're not familiar with that show, it's an old show. It's called Eyes on the Prize, and it talked about the civil rights movement and everything. And I remember my mother telling me that she can remember the day the television broadcasted dogs biting and firemen hosing down African American
blowing them across the street.
kids.
I mean, I'm telling you, they would
and
hose
they put
somebody
that
from here
on.
to there.
She said the first time that ever got put on
that
TV,
was the success.
that
Changed
messed
it.
everybody
That
up.
was
It
it.
changed the whole thing. Folks, people up here were like, "Are you kidding me?"
I was a teenager, an impressionable teenager then. I got to tell you what, it left quite an impression. But what also left the impression on me was what people were willing to go through to back it up. They didn't turn around and take a bus ride and sit in the back. No, they carpooled, they walked, they started walking, and it'd be 5 miles each way maybe to work, and they did what it took. And I liked the way it was they showed up and said, you do what you got to do. And it was a win-win. And
well, I mean, you could look at, like, that's why, like for me, as an African American male, I have an affinity for Bernie Sanders because I can actually go find pictures of him being amongst those people that were being hosed and bitten up and locked up and all that stuff. He fought for people that look like me. Now I want to play something for you because it's important that you know that this guy is one of yours.
he's allowed to do that.
You're gonna play something? Well, I could actually get that set up for you, so
Just-
I can hear it correctly. Yeah, hold
Okay,
on.
just
Give me a minute.
He's
Give me a minute.
our technical. Do we have a producer today? Yesterday I
course
liked
not.
that when we had a producer calling in because it was kind of fun. Somebody watching us and
And it's
know.
when you hear what's about to be played, you will understand.
you want to set it up at all, or you want to just play it?
I just want to play it,
Okay.
and then
You got the floor.
Okay, go ahead.
okay, here you go.
Is your volume up?
Yeah, it's up. Let's try it again.
I don't hear it.
No, I'm not
I don't
here.
hear it. It's not plugged in?
It should be coming out.
Yeah, we can put the speaker. Just put the speaker up to the mic. At this
Okay.
point. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
All right, here you go.
Spring training.
Yeah.
Hey, Bridgewater. Hey, man. I just wanted to give you a call, man, and let you know that I'm doing all right. My family came and got me from Oregon. They moved me back to Salt Lake City where I can be close to a support network. The DA's got me on a high speaking suicide alert, so I have to check in with them, very often, twice a day, to be honest with you. Yeah, man, I'm not good, bro. I'm not good, but I want to tell you I love you, and I thank you so much for that call that night. As much as the part of me that died over there wants to be dead now, there's a side of me that you brought out that wants to live. So I just want to say thank you. I owe you both. Have a good night. Bye.
Wow.
Now, I have to tell you that's Staff Sergeant James Alvey, one of the finest soldiers I have ever had the honor of serving with. One of your soldiers. That's why I make it a point to point out to everybody, those walking down the street, those listening on the radio, he is one of yours. So when you say things like ISIS, 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 blah, 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 understand what the impact is on the folks that are going to go do the fighting. Because as I stated yesterday, the United States military makes up less than 1% of the population, yet we do 100% of the fighting. So you're quick to say we need to go over there and destroy ISIS and everything like that. It's so easy for you to say it because you're not the one that's actually going to go pick up the gun and go fight. No one prays for peace more than the American soldier.
I'll bet.
Because we know what we can unleash. Once unleashed, it is hell. And if you're going to survive a war, it's true. You have to become war. That man was medically discharged from the Army. And he hurt his back. And got hooked on pills.
Yeah, it's a common story.
Okay?
Yeah.
And has to reinvent himself because he's no longer a soldier. He was a career soldier. You know, I pegged him as making Sergeant Major one day, you know, and he was med boarded out and got hooked on pills, has to reinvent himself now. It became a strain on his wife, you know, and she eventually decided she wanted to file for divorce. Yeah. That was the tipping point. And so he put out a cry for help in the form of, you know, saying he was going to commit suicide, and he put it on Facebook. I just happened to be reading that day and saw it, and it didn't make sense to me, so I went through 911. I called 911 here in Trenton.
That's a start.
Yeah, and God bless the dispatcher. She was so nice. She just said to me, Mr. Bridgewater, I'm so sorry. There's nothing we can do. I called the VA suicide prevention. At the end of after a couple of hours, I got his number, and I just kept calling his phone, calling, and he ended up picking up the phone. And mind you, at this point, I had already spoken to the local police out there and everything. They were out looking for him. So when he picked up the phone, I screamed and yelled, "Sir, don't do this. I need you. Your son needs you. Hell, I'm in New Jersey. I'll come get you. Okay? Let me come get you. Let me come take care of you. Please, don't do this. Don't do this." And he sounded like a child when he spoke. And at a certain, we prayed. You know, I was praying, you know, I prayed with them. At the time, I was just going through my classes at Kingdom Church. I'm a member at Kingdom in Ewing. And so, you know, I was, you know, anything I could do, anything I was, and at a certain point in the conversation, she said, "Bridgewater, I love you for this, man, but I just can't take it no more," and he hung up on me.
Wow.
Now, the whole time this is happening, my wife is standing there, and she's crying, I'm crying. And then maybe 15.
Helpless.
Yes, you know, and 15 minutes later, the 911 dispatch out in Bend, Oregon called me. "Mr. Bridgewater, we got him."
All right. Yeah.
You know, and I said, "Really? He's okay." Oh my God, thank you. You know, like that like, and then the tears really started coming down.
How long ago was
that? This was last summer.
Wow.
You know,
that's
this,
like yesterday.
This was last summer. Wow. So, my wife was in Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, they were going to Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, when he called. So, I cried and cried and cried, you know, and then she said, "I'll tell you what, I'll have the officer on the scene give you a call." 5 minutes later, the guy calls me up, and he says to me, what happened was he saw the truck on the side of the highway. And so he pulled over and ran the plates, and it came up with Sergeant Alvey's name. So he walked up the embankment into the woods to see, like, and he said he saw a little small light. And so he said, it was pitch black. He said, but I saw that light. He said, so I started walking towards that light. And he said, as I got closer, it went out. And that's when I turned on he said he turned on his flashlight, and Sergeant Alvey didn't put up a fight.
What was he doing?
He was, yeah.
I mean,
he was ready to shoot himself. He was ready to go.
Reluctant to ask, but
yeah. And so he said so I said the light went out. He said, yeah. I said, holy crap, he was on the phone with me.
Oh,
That's why he hung up on me.
No.
I told my wife, I was like, that's why he hung up.
Wow.
He heard somebody coming and shut the light out on the phone by hanging up on me.
Wow. I mean,
you have to say to yourself, okay, I hear all the time growing up. I used to hear all the time, God works in mysterious ways. Okay, see, that right there was textbook. God works in mysterious ways. And at that moment, I knew I felt highly favored because I was where I was supposed to be at that time.
And you did what you felt to do. Inspiration carried you.
Well, it was love. You have to understand, love was my only motivation. Love for my battle buddy. Love for my friend. I was trying to save my friend.
The timing is incredible with what happened.
Yes. And so when I said yesterday, I'm involved and I'm looking at this and I'm paying attention and I'm asking questions because something happened to me. That was the something. It was, and it happened to me a few times. It was that. So when PTSD and the chronic pains, I've had a couple of knee surgeries on my knee.
No, you don't count.
Yeah.
No, not for New Jersey. You don't count.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
We can give you
Thanks
a yellow,
anyway.
we can give you a big yellow ribbon.
Yeah.
But go away.
Here's a gold smiley face. See
I'm
you later.
speaking as a health department or administration member, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I change the voice, I'm not being Jim.
and the thing is that like and what's been, I will say this, when it comes to my VA counselor here in Trenton, Stephen Metro, he has been awesome. He is just as passionate and has been through everything. The one thing it's different when you can look at somebody and know y'all don't went through the same thing.
Yeah.
In a different way, but the same thing. There's a thing amongst veterans that we have where we could just look at each other and we know. Yeah, I know. And we can talk, and it's okay for us to talk about certain things that we can't talk about with the general public because they truly wouldn't understand. Not that we're better than them or anything like that. No, you really would not understand. Everyone, it's real easy to say when you're a soldier when there ain't no war. It's real easy. It's these things, we have become catchphrases and punchlines and all that stuff, but it is very real. You sent us. See, soldiers we're taught to, our loyalty is to the United States of America. Our loyalty, without question. We put it in your hands. We entrust you to hire the right people. That's what we do. We don't question it out loud, not while we're in uniform. We trust you. And so when I came back to Trenton and I spent a year quiet, watching and looking, I realized when I look at this movement and I look at what's happening in Trenton, what I would like to see happens to be aligned with your message. But for me, it's on the local level. And just like how Governor Christie has more than once shown you and told you that he truly could care less what you think and what you feel.
He's clear about that.
Yes. The same thing has happened here in the city of Trenton. And the worst part about it is that we're actually a capital city.
Yeah.
Billions run through here. Whether in some way, shape, or form, whether it has to be authorized, something needs to be signed, I don't care. It runs through this city. So, but look at what we have happening here. Now, and there's a disconnect in terms of relations because did you know that Mercer County, which is here, was the first county in the state of New Jersey in 2015 to 100% eradicate veteran homelessness?
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I'm not doubting you. I'm just a little surprised.
Yes.
How?
The first state, 100%.
What was the key?
Now here's the thing, and I'm just trying to get you to understand the thinking here. The fact that
Hold
you
on a
have
second.
to
Medical marijuana, we're not talking about it, but I got to say it now and then.
Yeah.
This is important.
That's okay.
Cannabis.
No, I'm
Yes,
just
yeah.
saying. You know, we got our own little Bibles
the,
there.
the, the fact that you don't even know that is astounding.
Well,
Yeah.
That is something
that should be something everybody knows.
Listen, this should be a sign.
Yeah, and you know the
This
sign should be in
commercials.
in other county seats.
Yes,
There should be a sign at the
yes,
Ocean
yes,
County Courthouse
yes.
saying we have homelessness, but Mercer County
Mercer County
doesn't.
was the first to
And then,
100% in veteran
And then
homelessness.
I'll do my impression of one candidate when you say that, and we don't, and you go. You gotta end it with that, like ta-da. But that is this is what Ocean County should know. It's okay if we don't know about it. It's not like we're really in or going to be in a position to help.
I refuse to continuously. I refuse to continuously just point out all the bad.
Yeah.
But
no, that's good.
There's
The bad part
but
is
there's some bad in the good. It's
yeah.
like the good things we have done. It's bad that you don't even know about.
And
that.
it should be a model that should be looked at, or at least people should try to investigate why that is. Well, we're always looking for a model of success. We see a demonstration and a lot of people there. Why? Oftentimes it's because it's a Saturday and they got buses and it's a union thing or whatever. But we do try to see what works. So along those lines, you would think, use Ocean County as an example, you should think Ocean County would know about Mercer County's success in eradicating homelessness.
For veterans.
For veterans.
And
Well,
you don't.
and
yeah,
this is-
it's something that should be. We like to me. I'm all
big.
about having bragging rights and stuff like that. And if there's one thing that I would love that I love having is the bragging rights of being able to say, well, I live in the first county that the first county in the state that ended 100% homelessness last year. Yup.
Yeah.
We did that.
How'd they do that?
Good question. I have no clue.
He wants to be the person to be able to do that. This hasn't happened.
I shouldn't. You should
is what
not
he
be.
wants to happen.
You should not have to ask me. That should be common knowledge how it worked, how
And
it
he
was
doesn't
done.
mean
Well,
that
how
personally,
could it be done? How could it be done? Shelters.
I believe that the VA has a number of programs which they do. Like there's a thing called VONAP, vocational rehabilitation, where you can use. There's money that you can use to go learn a new trade or skill, such as what I'm doing. Like I've recently decided to change direction at the age of 41. I am now going to go in a completely different direction career-wise, inspired by this. So now I want to go back to school and get my MBA in business and entrepreneurship. I want to bring the first medical marijuana dispensary in the city of Trenton. That's what I want. I want to do that, and I think that because the thing is that what you heard,
whatever
what
we can do to help.
And so because I have because I have business aspirations. From a political standpoint, I have to be able to remain separate. I can speak this way because I'm not politically inclined. I'm not politically inclined to.
Yeah, it's
I'm not defined. Yeah,
but you do have the right to watch out for who's in.
Yes, but what I do
power.
have is I do have a particular mindset. I brought these coins out and I explained to you all the things that I have done in my career and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't think you've explained everything. You scratched
some
the
things,
surface.
yeah.
Don't tell us that's everything. Or I'm not buying that.
But what I'm able to do is I am able to. I have a way of thinking because of who I worked with, that I have an expectation because I'm used to briefing 3-star generals and 4-star admirals, and I'm used to one of the things that I learned early on, particularly working with with David Petraeus, was don't tell him yes when you know the answer is no. Do not do that. And
that's
so
good advice.
whenever and I was fortunate, I was given the opportunity to learn these things because my platoon sergeant said, well, Dad, Bridgewater, you're going to be in there anyway. You might as well give the J6 brief. So I had started giving the J6 brief.
Okay, J6.
Which is the communication side of the briefing when we would have these roundtable discussions. And we
So
would have
you were
these,
giving that brief as
Yes,
well?
I would give that briefing.
Really?
Yes,
to,
I was.
to these people.
To
you've been
these,
telling
yes,
about?
I would have to tell General Petraeus why these messed up numbers. But the thing about it was always absent of emotion. General Petraeus could care less why the numbers were messed up. He just needs to know the numbers so he can make a decision.
Really?
And that's and I got to watch firsthand, personally. I got to see this man use whatever tools he had in him to make the decisions that he made. Because I understand he's done some things that that got him in trouble and with his wife and everything like that. But as a country, we are weaker that he is no longer in public service. We're weaker
And
for it.
You are in a position to say that.
And I can honestly say that without a shadow of a doubt. But I had to learn, like, again, because I was exposed to these people on an everyday basis and seeing how they, I know Admiral Mullins is a fiend for sweet potato pie. that's just that's one of those things that you have to work with the person and spend an enormous amount of time to even know little things like that. And again, that's how these men became, and some women. Colonel Stewart, Lieutenant Colonel Stewart, she's from Philadelphia, but was a hard-nosed woman, and I will give it to her. She knew the first and last name and nicknames of every soldier in her command.
Really?
That's how tight of a ship she ran. That's how close of a unit we were. When I did the NATO Reactionary Force rotation, NRF rotation, my unit was responsible for providing communications backup during the Olympics. We accompanied Secretary Jacques de Joop to Yasser Arafat's funeral.
Wow.
Scary, scary, scary time.
Yeah, that should have been.
Yeah.
Scary.
General Jones, it was not uncommon when you work for NATO, the SACEUR was General Jones, was a Marine, 4-star general. It was not uncommon for him to call and say, we need to have a talk. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, sir. But that's the way things worked.
Yeah.
And again, at the time, did I know that Dave Petraeus was going to turn out to be CIA director? No. Did I know Mike Mullins would end up becoming chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff? No.
These are names I know, and I'm not really inclined to know things like that otherwise. I don't know who the CIA chief is now.
Yeah, and Rick Lynch, I didn't know. I know he doesn't like officers. General Lynch can't stand officers. He loves NCOs, non-commissioned officers, because non-commissioned officers in the United States Army, those are the sergeants and all them.
Yeah.
We don't have time for, putting window dressing on things. Just give it to us straight.
It would be nice if it really did work that way here. I'm interested to see how much of how you operate is, and a good amount will be transferable towards what we need to do here.
Well, I demonstrated it yesterday by explaining why I refuse to stand and stare at a building and scream and hoping that Chris Christie would hear me. He's not.
Yeah,
I can't do that. So what I do, what do? You circumvent that and you go straight to the people. And there's an attitude based upon working with these men that I picked up, which is called accountability. And so when you look at what's happening in the state and when you look at what's happening in the city of Trenton, you have to. It's easy to go and look at historical data. It's in the books.
Yeah.
There's numbers. You look at what the city council has done, and then you have to ask yourself, because I ask myself, how is it possible that we keep hiring unqualified people to hold these high-level jobs? How does this happen? So then when you look at the historical data, it's all right there. And so what I did yesterday was I went into briefing mode. I decided to brief the people on what based on my assessment, here's what I have found out. You've averaged less than 8% voting over the last 10 years. You've lost 40,000 people. You've lost 40,000 residents population-wise in the last 10 years. Okay, I was part of the NATO training mission in Iraq. So during that time frame, I was there when the Transitional National Assembly. You okay?
No, actually, I've had this cough since last October.
I was there when the transitional national when the Iraqi people voted for the first time. I was there for that. I was there to see when the Saddam Hussein trials. You know, I was there to see when they took when those Iraqi officials took their positions for the first time and started running the government. I can tell you right now, it's so much easier to bring down a government than it is to actually run one. That would stand
to reason. Yeah.
That's from a personal, in my face point of view. I was there, you know, and so again, you know, when I came here yesterday and I started talking to people, I was in that mode. I was back then in terms of how I was talking.
And it worked well because, like I said, I was standing behind you, kind of looking at people's faces, and I'm used to talking to groups of people over decades now. And I kind of know the mannerisms just to look at a crowd and know where they are by the and they were pretty still. I didn't see, other than taking a picture, I don't think I really saw anybody with thumbs blazing looking down while you were talking. They were understanding what you were saying. I'm trying to hear also, it's what we do at the podcast. I try to hear what you're saying with the ears of people that might be listening. And that's where I would then get questions. Some are for my own edification, and some are, as I keep saying, with the acronyms. You know, you don't know who knows and doesn't. At this point, if I were listening, I'd be guessing that your willingness isn't the right word. Your idea that you can take part in helping have post-traumatic stress added as an acceptable indication for getting a medical marijuana registration card. And it's not clear if you yourself have post-traumatic stress, or you're doing this for others who do.
Yes, I do. I do. I have my moments. I have
I hope this isn't something you didn't want it, but it helps clarify.
Part of the therapy process is being able to speak on it. You have to be able to talk about it. Okay. You know,
you talking about it can change things.
Yes.
Though. I mean, beyond people's personal therapy, your therapy can end up making a situation where others don't have to deal with it at the level I do.
We're in therapy right now.
Yeah, good.
This is therapy right now.
Well, it is for both of us too. I know I can speak for Lefty.
But
this is therapy for us as well.
But for the veterans suffering under PTSD, suffering with PTSD, being able to have a venue where we can talk about it, like the three of us are doing right now, and all your other listeners, this is a form of therapy for me.
Good.
Because what they teach us is you have to be able to talk about it. Now you can't. It's not like you walk around all day screaming it down to the rafters, but the willingness to be able to have to speak on it and explain what your situation. Like I was just telling somebody a couple of days ago about this, and I said, one of my moments was I used to have a reoccurring dream of a firefight, but somehow or another, my wife and my son worked their way into the firefight. So I'm fighting even harder. Now, that's in the dream. What that translates in real life, with my wife laying next to me, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Because I'm fighting. In the dream, I'm fighting.
Cover.
You see what I'm saying? It was just.
So you're going through.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of a fire.
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of a firefight. At night in the bed.
How often?
Not often at all.
Yeah, but it's not.
There's
that
things
happens
that trigger.
at all.
Yeah, there are things we have to learn. You have to learn what your triggers are. There are things that trigger these types of emotions and these types of things. So whenever that dream comes up, I know something's up in terms of what I'm going through. I might be stressed out about something or whatever. Another trigger, which doesn't manifesting dreams or anything like that. It's like when I see movies with, military themes and stuff like that, I cry. But I'm also the same guy who cries for Little House on the Prairie.
I do
You're,
too.
you're also the guy who could kick my ass if I laugh at that. So I'm just.
But I'm just saying, but I take it much more personal.
Yeah.
And I know how, and that's why I said,
And and that's really all I think people need to know. It's not like what does your post-traumatic stress arise from. It's not pertinent to what I need to know. The respect I think, especially veterans deserve, is that just knowing they have post-traumatic stress, you should not need to have them confirm it by telling you a story. I think you should respect the fact that if they want to tell you about it, they will. If they're not sure, they shouldn't have to. Cameras, governors come in from behind. Greg, turn around. Greg, turn around.
Well, the thing is, as a
Join us.
as a
Join our
Stop.
podcast, Governor, please.
We have a veteran here explaining why post-traumatic stress would be very good to be added. And Governor, we'd love for you to come on the podcast.
Don't be scared of us, Governor.
Explain if that can happen.
Governor, don't be a pussy. Get out here.
well, again.
Sorry about that.
Hold on, so we're gonna digress for a second.
Yeah,
Sorry
it's
about
okay.
that.
It's okay,
So
please.
this is very important that you speak for veterans because you know what they went through.
That makes me mad.
And there's a man who's not a
Makes me
veteran
sick.
speaking for what's good and not good for you.
Piece of garbage that
We
guy
are
is.
not going to give up until
Suck.
post-traumatic stress is added.
Can't even talk to us.
Yeah, okay.
I'm
But
pissed. No, I mean, it makes me mad.
you're allowed to be pissed.
I'm mad.
We have he's good, bad cop, good cop.
Nah.
No, but you're right.
bunch
Now,
of
see,
BS,
this is not a veteran with
I've seen
combat
what veterans go
experience
through.
being
No,
mad.
I've seen my veteran friends who can't even talk about their stories because when they talk about their stories, they have a week of episodes. They can't even bring this stuff up. So, and Governor Christie just walks past here like that,
He walked right
like
by you.
nothing.
Now,
like
hold
nothing.
on. Okay. Now, let me give me a second.
Screw him.
Only
We-
because give me a second, and
ahead.
then I'll hand
Sorry.
it right back. Turn your mic off,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
metaphorically.
Hold
on a second.
Hey, Lefty.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, but
Thank you.
understand.
I love you for that.
Oh, well,
man.
then I'm going to get mad, too. I want you to love me,
Yeah.
too, Leo. I mean, I'm trying to take your advice. No, the time
you
for,
guys are taking
no,
the
he's
high
right.
road.
No,
I know.
okay,
You
first
I'm
of
not.
all.
No, I'm not.
No, Lefty,
Lefty,
let me
listen.
say real quick.
Yeah.
You didn't do that disrespecting him to his face. You wait till he went inside. And
When he couldn't hear me?
No, but it wasn't like you were saying that. What I'm trying to say is I don't want him to use our attitude as a reason to not talk to us. That's all. Now that's why, but that's also why I'm the guy with the picture with my arm around him as a candidate, and I'm just saying that I would be the one to he could say, "Don't make it that Lefty guy," and I'd go, "I won't."
Okay,
I'll be
Lefty,
the guy.
Lefty's out.
Yeah, all right, so let me say this.
Yeah, go.
I not too long ago,
Yeah.
I literally had just said, how many times are you going to try to talk to someone who has told you and he
What did
just
you just say?
showed us
Now, first
that
of
he
all,
could
this
give
is all
two-
going to.
There you go.
This is going to be
They could care
archived.
Exactly
less
what you said.
about
Leo
what we
Bridgewater,
think.
let me introduce you to what's going to happen.
Yeah, here you go.
What's going to happen?
I
And
just
also we
told
have,
you that.
We
this
just
is-
spoke about this.
Okay, but this is Greg Moore, who has his camera on and got good footage. He photographs, videos a lot of that. We haven't seen much results yet, but he does do a lot. He knows I'm messy.
I know.
He knows, right?
don't
Look
mess
at
with
what
Greg.
a
Leave Greg
poker
alone.
face.
Leave
I
Greg
wish
Do
a lot of
not
people
play
could see the
poker
look
with
on
Greg
his
Moore. I
face.
got to tell you, I have no idea. Okay,
wish-
but listen.
Uh-oh. Don't say it. Don't say it.
You gave him the mic, Leo. Thanks.
Leo,
man.
thanks, man. We have rules on this show.
Go ahead, Greg. Hi. Hi,
With
Greg.
infinite patience comes immediate results.
I did just say it. I just
This is what you're going to see when you look back earlier. Leo Bridgewater just explained how he knows the governor doesn't care about him. Now, cut from that right up to the video you just got.
And then he
Now,
walked there and literally just co-signed everything, confirmed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Everything
I
you
interested
said.
a veteran
yeah,
who
and
would
then-
like to. Did he even look at you?
Yeah, he never
He
even-
didn't
No.
even look at
He
you.
don't care.
Look,
Lefty, take it away. He didn't even look at him. What do you think
No,
of
he
that?
doesn't care.
And look,
Come on, get angrier.
With all of this,
Passing the angry
with
baton over.
all
Come
of
on.
this on the table, with all of these on the table.
I should have thought to held one up.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
You know, he
I'm
did
glad you.
right.
I'm glad you were here, sitting where you did when I looked up. And I'm glad, Greg, that you were able to turn around.
good
and
job.
You
Got
just
video.
happened to walk up. You know why you happened to walk up first? This is the man that things happen to around.
Yeah,
You know, this
see?
is.
See what
this,
happens?
See, this is. You're bringing it already to the table. No, you come. When's the last time we saw
Energy.
Governor?
A lot of
what-
energy
okay,
here.
When's the last time we saw Governor Christie?
Last year?
No, while we were podcasting.
Oh my God.
Ever. We never.
no.
He never walked by
Doesn't
the
happen.
podcast all last year.
Really?
Not
Yes,
one.
it doesn't happen.
Leo
That's right.
shows up. An hour
Really?
later, the governor walks by. He walked by us when we're setting up sometimes
yeah.
and all.
So remember when I gave you the story about
Amazing.
Sergeant Alvey, and I told you, you know, the cop said he saw the light, and then I realized, I was, you know, that God works in a mysterious way. I was right where I was supposed to be at that time, and da-da-da-da-da.
That's what I'm saying. It's you.
Yes.
It's you. So what do you do on Thursdays other than this?
Yeah, you're here. You're a co-host. You're official co-host of the show.
But the thing is that what I wanted to bring to what I wanted to bring to the people
That's weird.
is that, you know, a sense of accountability, which is why.
Well,
you know,
we got to start with that. There's no
no.
accountability
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well, see, here's the thing. I know that. We are listen. There's historical.
Now we got
data.
video at
yeah,
6,
we know about his accountability and everything like that. That's fine.
We do. That's fair.
But what I am talking about is, you know, actually the people being held accountable. You haven't exercised your citizen
You
duties.
talked about that yesterday.
Yes, you don't exercise your citizen duties. You know, so
Well,
so
obviously
well,
here we are.
No.
I know that's you, general.
Yeah, I'm talking to
I
I'm
know.
talking to the
I'm messing
general
with you.
population, particularly when it comes to the city of Trenton. And that's why I said, if you really want to shock the hell out of this building, you get 84,000 people to just register to vote and actually vote. That's a number that cannot be. That is a number that cannot be ignored. That is a number that an aide would walk up to Governor Christie and say, "Hey, sir, 84,000 people in this city just voted."
Yeah.
Regardless of what they voted for.
That goes a long way.
Let me tell you something. If you had 84,000 people come out to register, which we could, and the thing is the sad part is it's not expensive, it's free. Voting is free. It's not expensive at all. But if you had 84,000 people in the city, and not only that though, but you wouldn't have the current city council. You wouldn't have the current mayor. You wouldn't have that. Not when you got 84,000 people. What this city has on a local level is popularity contests disguised as elections. Because in Trenton is 7 by 7.
These are turf wars.
Huh?
Turf wars.
Don't
Yes.
speak
And
off mic.
Did you say
Greg.
turf wars, Greg? Turf
Turf
wars?
wars, yeah.
Turf wars?
Yeah.
When you talk on mic, we can hear you. That's
Turf
what I'm
wars.
Yeah.
Is it
So
dirt
when
board?
so when you have that, you have and you also and don't think for a minute that nobody on the city council or the mayor, don't think for a minute that they don't know that they have less than 10% voting population. They know that. And so that when they do this, when they come here knowing that 90% of the city
when
isn't even
people
gonna
vote like that, you can establish a voting block.
You could do
No, you could.
anything.
No, I say you. No, now I'm talking you, Leo. I'm not talking
Oh, okay.
you, General. You could establish a voting block, meaning you could speak for a group of people, and if they see that more people are voting, and that you say, I got 300 people going to vote the way I say to. You know, because it's, you know, if they know an issue is important to a group of people.
But see, here's the
Cannabis
thing.
consumers don't really do that either. I don't think we purposely
we don't
register to vote
Yeah,
for expressing our.
If we
our,
let me tell you
preferences.
this.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with legalizing, you know, within the city, just talking about just the city of Trenton. You know, the ripple effect, because you boost first of all you introduce an industry into the city. Then which would effectively affect, you know, the food industry in this city. We have, you know, because none of the big time companies are fighting to get here. That's the thing. Nobody
that's a
wants
fact.
to come to Trenton. That's
sentenced
fine
to
too.
Trenton.
Not yet.
Not yet. But here's what we can do. What we can do is we can pump up our own economy. We can dwindle down the numbers of people who are affected by small amounts of pots and effectively mess with the prison industrial complex. We can effectively it have an immediate effect, an immediate impact within the city.
Yeah.
And that can be the jumping point. Because then you bring back, and that's why I think what
Now,
I
are you
was
talking
saying
about
yesterday,
a city ordinance that would do that?
yes,
Or
like decriminalize it, legalize it, everything, whatever
Yeah.
it
If
would take.
Trenton legalized-
let the local government become friendly to the cannabis industry. Because the one thing that we do have that New York City doesn't have, that Philly doesn't have, that Baltimore doesn't have.
we got Leo. That's what we got there.
We got Leo now.
Yeah.
No, what we have that they don't have.
What's that?
We're a capital city.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We're a capital. I'm built to think strategically. We are 25 minutes away from Philly, less than an hour from New York.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But we are the capital city.
Strategically, location-wise, we should be killing it, and we're not because we have a bunch of people who are stuck. Yeah,
Yeah.
who are stuck
We held
in.
that bridge.
Yeah, they're stuck in 1996. The thinking here
Yeah.
is not progressive enough. So no matter how much hooping and hollering we do, if you can't bring up the education or the mindset of the people in power, it's not going to work. So the way you do it is you circumvent them. You go past them, and you go straight to the people. And it's an idea. The thing about the pot industry, and particularly in this city, is that you introduce this industry, you have a population that a majority of the population actually has a intimate knowledge about.
Yeah, and there's the people who don't think it's a good idea do know it's coming, and the industry is the correct word.
When we
Let me
went
ask you this: you reach the people. How do you reach the people? In other words, everything you're saying would resonate with people in Trenton. It would. Mm-hmm. But short of going down to the joint across from City Hall, where you're going to find a receptive audience, or here, we're trying to come up. We cross paths here. We're trying to come up with ways to reach people as well, and that seems to be something that's not as easy as we thought.
Well, here's the thing: you have to first of all, attitude reflects leadership. You have an attitude problem, and it's reflective of the leadership. And the thing
now,
is,
when you say you, I know you. I mean, you're not looking at me saying you have an attitude problem. But who are you referring to? You, general, like the people in charge, the exec.
I'm talking about the general population within the city of Trenton, and
Has an
also,
attitude. Okay.
and
I don't disagree.
and in the state. But the thing is
How
that
do you get them to take part? Like you
Take
were
my
stressing
message.
that yesterday.
Yes, that's why I said
And
take my
people were
message.
listening. That was a good way right there.
I said you could take everything that I'm saying, even today, take everything that I'm saying, take out the word Trenton, and then fill it in with your hometown. It'll still apply.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The one thing that makes my message unique with Trenton is that no other city can say they're a capital city.
Not the ones that are,
We're a capital
talking
city.
about, yeah.
So you know what? As a capital city, like I obviously we've had there hasn't been a death.
We have a bridge and a slogan.
There hasn't been a death that has galvanized the folks here in Trenton to want to make a change or move. And we're talking babies have gotten killed.
Yeah.
Old people have gotten killed. That's not enough
That's
to
not
move
enough.
you because
No.
you're disenfranchised with that. Okay, well we know there hasn't been a natural disaster that has happened that has galvanized the people because we've had floods, we've been blizzard out. Look at your streets. Look at the conditions of your streets, your infrastructure. All that was because of natural occurrences with weather. And you still didn't move. Okay, so evidently there's an attitude problem. You don't even want to go out and vote to get the right guy in or right woman in.
So
wait,
you have to
let me
reach
finish.
people. Yeah.
So then what you do is you give the people a message that an idea, something that even they can wrap their brains around. And the only thing that I could think of that would resonate quickly, easily, is the pot industry. it's the one thing that if you say you bring this into this city, you become a friendly government, you become a friendly local government to the pot industry, and watch what happens. Colorado has how many times does New Jersey have to show you that they don't care about you, and how many times does Colorado and California got to show you how much money they making?
Are you
listen.
going to take this to the city council? What you're saying now, I would love to go attend a session where you explain this to them. I would love to see that.
Yeah, actually, there is a city council meeting today, and my intent was to just go in and just listen like I've been doing.
Yeah, you're never going to sit there and listen. You're not fooling me.
Let's cut that out right now.
Yeah, we're going to go
Stop
in.
that.
We're going to go in and just listen and be quiet with you.
Let's not do that anymore.
The thing is that I want to do that because this will be my first time being face to face in the same room to hear and watch how they do. Because based on, I can't just base everything on just the historical data, which is probably like 95% of what I'm basing it on. The other 5% is seeing how these people how these members are as people. Because to be able to have, you saw the governor just walked right by us.
Yeah, he walked by
like you were
without
nothing.
even looking at you.
Wait. Now he went. You count. Look at the
word. What were we calling?
If you look at the distance from the sidewalk to the front door,
Yeah.
and then you take that distance and you triple it and go in the opposite direction, looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
And that's within walking distance. You go up those steps and go into that neighborhood, you screwed.
Yeah, it's different.
Because he ain't gonna walk that way. How many times? And this is the capital. And the thing is that they're not even embarrassed about it.
We're gonna looking at time. I want to make sure we hear about the arrest in a minute. I got to tell you though, if not for that, we could do an entire. I started out explaining how it's hard to fill up 3 hours of a podcast, and then you show up, and now
like,
we're like.
I love
don't want to leave where we are. Want to hear.
No, I want to keep going.
Want to hear about the. So I was just making sure. I was going to say I offer stuff like cooking spaghetti, throw it to the wall, see if it sticks. When you get to talking, like say you go to city council meeting, if you had a piece of paper this size with just a keyword, you probably already know this, the keywords of the bases you want to touch, that no matter what else you say as you look down your conversation, in other words, a key word, attitude. That's all. It's going to bring up what you were just talking about, the attitude of the people, or just keywords, because you give them enough to think about that if you do that and you don't hurry, but you touch all the bases, they don't really have time to do anything except hear the next thing you're saying. And it's not like I'm saying you get it out fast. It's just that at the end, and you feel like it, boom, you're looking right down. You know exactly the path you want. Just a path. You could write 7 things on that.
Well, the thing
and then
is,
you could stand there for 5-6 minutes and let them have it.
Well, here's the thing.
You got what it takes.
That's something you do when you want to talk to the city council. I have absolutely nothing to say to the city council. I don't. Just
everything you just said would have been great. No.
And
say it anyway. Say it anyway. Screw it.
The thing is that
yes, you do.
I like what you're saying.
No, I had nothing to say to the city council. Every question I have, I can just look at historical data to get the answers to.
Yeah.
And so if I got up to the microphone to speak to the city council, I'd turn my back on them and talk directly to the people in
there
that
you go.
room.
That's all.
Then you do
that's
that.
Good.
That would be
That's
cool.
what
I like
that.
that.
Yeah, that's what you.
We'll catch
that's
out
what
on
you do.
film. We'll catch out on
that's
video,
what you do.
social
and
media.
And what
you're
you
good.
do is,
when are we doing this?
And what you do
It's up to him.
is you explain to the people who they are. These you hired incapable people.
I like the way he's
unqualified
talking,
people.
pointing behind him now as he
Yeah.
talks.
That'll
work.
I'm so down.
Again,
When are we doing this?
Look who
What
I
you say,
learned
Greg?
from. Look who I. Could you imagine? See, in my head, like I sit there and I say to myself all the time, Jesus, if I gave that kind of answer, General Petraeus would kill me.
You could actually,
oh my God,
you could
General
turn
Lynch,
around.
I could see General Lynch wringing
I'd
my
love to see you
neck
do
if
that.
that was
Oh,
not
that-
like I hear so many not good enough answers. And the thing is
protect
that
you.
we got
you
your
have to
back.
ask yourself, excuse me, but why haven't you done this? Oh, Oh, okay. So that means you're not equipped. You don't have the equipment.
You spent
to-
more time on that excuse than you did on the job.
Yeah. So and you know what? You don't want to talk to
Yeah.
me. You don't have anything to say? Okay. Because you know what? When I leave here, when I go, you don't want me to see, first of all, you showed up. I'm your boss. I am your boss.
Yeah.
It's what constituents are your boss.
They serve you.
And you showed up here and told me that you don't want to talk to me. You don't have anything to say to me. That's what you came to your boss that
We
way?
saw that
you know
happen a
what?
little while
Yeah,
back.
we
Now
just
that-
happened.
Yeah,
We
it
saw
was
the
just
governor
it.
tell you that by walking right by
So
you.
okay, Governor Christie.
He
you don't want to
disrespected
talk
you.
to
We
yeah,
don't allow
yes,
that.
he did. Yes, he
We
did.
don't
But that's
allow
okay.
that.
It's okay. It's okay
No,
because
it's
now
not.
we know how he really
Yes.
thinks. He showed us.
And just
so
like
now, what I'm
we
going to
show
do is-
everybody else.
Yeah,
We got
so,
video.
Yeah, so now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave. And I'm going to go talk to my friends, and we're going to talk about his ass. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about him. And the thing is that the ears that I have access to,
Yeah.
you don't want me talking about you like that to them. You understand what I'm saying now? You don't want
Yes,
me.
sir.
You know the thing is the light in which you are the light in which the impression you left on me is one that you do not and what happened and again when it comes to the local government to include the mayor, again, I have nothing personal against anybody here because I haven't been here long enough to feel the effects personally. So I don't, that anger isn't there. I don't have that kind of anger. What you showed when he walked by and everything like that, I can't even begin to empathize with. I can't because I wasn't here to feel the brunt of his decisions or inability to make decisions to affect me. I wasn't living in this state.
But
I
your
wasn't.
brothers and sisters were. The
Yes,
veterans
and
we wanna take care of,
that is
they
something-
were, and
now
they're being
that,
affected
now
by
that
them.
is something
They've
to
been
be
here.
that is something to be angry about and upset and to feel some kind of way. Hence why I'm sitting in this chair talking
I
to you
can,
right
I
now.
can see you. I can
but
see,
I'm
okay,
not. Yeah.
settle down, big guy. I was only, but you're right.
Yeah,
that while it hasn't caught up to you yet in your everyday life, and it will. You're going to live in
Yes.
Trenton. You have an affinity for Trenton. You'd like to see it be everything it could be.
Trenton
And
is-
it will. But are you thinking it's going to become personal? Eventually, it will.
Yeah.
How can it not?
There are-
Maybe not. but-
Well, here's the thing. What I have to do is, from a personal standpoint, I have to insulate myself so that no matter how messed up his decisions are,
Yeah.
it doesn't have a direct impact on me.
Well, this is very similar to the decisions the governor makes. Me personally, I use cannabis when I feel like it, and he has nothing to say about that. And I don't look over my shoulder, and it's small amounts and things like that. And
Why I
and
got my-
it
that's why I
helps
got my
hurt
cannabis
feet.
card. That's why I got my medical patient card.
Wouldn't have any reason to know it, but 4 years ago I broke both feet catastrophically in a fall ladder, coming down, not straight down. And they shattered his 59 hospital days over 4 stays, 29 days being the longest. 7 months in a wheelchair, using a commode instead of a bathroom. All that, and work my way back. No, man. Every time I do this,
A couple of jumps. That's
Yeah.
the screws. That's the pins.
But
yeah.
see,
Ouch.
then you know what it's like, and I do know what it's like to have somebody say that pain doesn't count. That's from the wrong source. Is that from MS? No. Cancer? No. Well, then you don't count. Doesn't matter what.
is that
like,
crazy?
Like
That's
it was
nuts to
as
me.
mine done. But
Fort
the
Bragg,
reason
North
the reason
Carolina.
his decisions don't affect me is I take care of myself, and I don't need permission from anybody to put whatever I want in my body or treat it how I want. This is actually all I own right here.
But see, the
You know,
thing is,
that
is
car I'm
that
driving, that's not my car.
But I realize that not everybody is in the same position
Yeah.
that I'm in, and not everybody, and it's again, I took an oath to defend this country from both foreign and domestic. Yeah.
That's
Threats.
domestic, Governor. That would be you.
And,
Yeah,
and
blood money.
so and so what hasn't been explained to the governor, what hasn't been explained to the mayor of Trenton, what hasn't been explained to the city council of Trenton is that you are making domestic mistakes.
Yeah.
Big ones that are turning into threats.
It's not only affecting people's lives, people seriously, and I'm not making a huge jump, are not just suffering but dying because of the mistakes. Because if 1 in 10 people in the program died last year, that means one in certain amount of people, maybe less, died who weren't even allowed in.
Yep.
They died without ever having been in the program. And that you are willing to take part where your wheelhouse is in fixing the program, it's like you said, you got to know your strong suits. You know your strong suit, and you know that you can bring to the table something we do not have yet that might be the ingredient that really gets the reaction going. That it's a very synergistic thing that we were podcasting yesterday and got to listen to you speak so passionately to the crowd, and I'm pointing to that's our man. I mean, and there are other veterans. I got to say, Don Karpowicz, Philippe Dumais, Daniel Brady, who speak up.
Hey, listen, man. I not too long ago, I saw Governor Christie stick his hand in a man's face because his daughter didn't have access to medical marijuana.
Yeah,
like
that would have been Roger Barber.
And yeah, I don't know what I wasn't.
Yeah,
living
it
here,
would have been Roger
but,
Barber,
like,
likely.
He stuck his hand in his face and he was very forceful. The same anger that you displayed when he went by.
Yeah.
That's the way he was talking to this man.
You want to see a man named Rick
So,
Ricardo?
but no, what I'm saying
gotta
to you
see
is
him talk.
that when he did that for me, for Leo looking at this, he just demonstrated what how he really, what his attitude is about this and how he looks at it and everything, about how much he really thinks about it. That you can actually go stick your hand in a man's face whose child is hurting right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have access to this.
Help him.
And you can and you can sit there and you can go at him, and the thing is that, you know, what the governor did, he knew that there were cameras on him and everything like that. But the thing about it is that the fact that he consciously thought to do that tells you told me right then and there that he really does not care. He doesn't care so much that it's not even embarrassing to him to do that.
Let
to
me
a
ask
man.
you something, and
A
I'm not
grown
going to
man.
do it by way of demonstration. How would you feel? And again, okay, I'll use him as a demonstration
Okay.
because I'm not afraid of him.
Yes, you better be.
If somebody did that to you,
Bite it off.
no, I'm just saying, would you, knowing what you know about how to proceed, compartmentalize everything you've learned, would you be able to keep your cool? You think?
Yes, because it would play directly into my hands.
Yeah.
That would what he did, that whole action.
Yeah.
That played directly into my hands,
yeah.
unwittingly,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it played well.
So
'cause
you see that as
you
the
just
same
confirmed
success.
yeah, it's the
Validation.
same thing. Yes, he
And
validated
you see
everything
the
that I
same
said.
success that we were talking about. Just like we talked earlier about Gandhi going to get the crap beat out of him. You didn't have to get the crap beat out of you. You, a veteran who should be thanked for your service, were disrespected by the governor, identified by me as a veteran.
I was going to say, you stood up
post-traumatic
and said,
stress.
Governor Christie, we have a decorated combat veteran here, and he kept right on going.
Yeah.
See, this right here, this is
Oh, I
what's
wish-
supposed
you
to
know,
come.
He wouldn't have looked at it though. But if I
but-
threw one
but
at him,
what's
would you
supposed to
forgive me?
come? Like when someone says, "Hey,
could've
you have a decorated vet here," what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to say, "Really." Walk over, shake my hand, and
yeah.
say thank you for your
Yeah.
service,
Or-
and da 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 da.
At very
That's the way
best.
it's supposed to
Very
go.
simple.
Yeah.
That's the
Or
way
the guy,
it was.
the guy next to him
yeah.
does it. The guy next to him pulls as he turns around like this and,
Yeah.
and thanks you.
Yeah,
Paul, they work
nobody
in-
in his
they're
nobody
on
in
a
his
team,
entourage.
No.
Nobody, not even none of the drivers of the vans,
No.
and they all.
Now let me tell you,
heard
and let me tell you something
Yeah,
else
they did.
about the people that surround the governor. Most all are veterans.
Yeah, that's true.
Most state troopers, I believe, are veterans. They have sort of a leg up becoming state police, and that when you talk about veterans to law enforcement, they are always going to be on your side as a group and as individuals, even if they weren't veterans, because their brothers and sisters were veterans, and you know how that works. So to go on by there, and I know I react, with people that work with the governor. He's not liked by a lot of people on his own staff. He's not liked by state troopers, or he's not liked by state troopers either.
I will say this: if you are a veteran, and you are, first of all,
Shout out to my
you-
buddies behind
yeah.
us here.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you need to lead by example. And I remember listening to President Obama say, he's I know a lot of folks don't particularly care for the president and everything, and there's some things that I disagree with him on, but that's okay. I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
That's what it's supposed to be
That's
like.
right.
But I will say that the man and his wife have been awesome to veterans. They know that we have, because what we bring to the table is a work ethic. We bring a sense of mission. And that's what you heard yesterday.
I did.
That you don't hear hope. You hear you hear a leadership quality. You hear a very detailed plan, simple, and again a sense of accountability and the ability to hold someone accountable for either not doing their job or having done their job. It's a shame. The only person that I can tell you right now in my conversation who I could give all kinds of praises and respect to and everything like that is Stephen Metro, my VA counselor in Trenton.
A counselor, you mentioned that before, a VA counselor. What is a VA counselor?
He's your VA counselor is your direct personal link to the VA.
For
So
anything
anything going
you might
on,
need
yeah.
them.
So when I made this
You have a guy
decision,
to call?
yes, I call Mr. Metro. And I sit down and I check in with him. We sit down and we talk. Unfortunately he's a Cowboys fan and I'm an Eagles fan, so that's the only
Well, I'll
thing
give
we
you something
butt
to talk
heads
about
on.
right there.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, he gives it to me bad. But that's the the soldier in him.
How are you an Eagles fan? You live in Jersey, dude. For real?
Yeah, I know.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know.
That's your first problem, right there.
Jersey doesn't have a team.
No, the Jets.
The Jets,
No,
yeah,
I'm sorry,
and the Giants
the
that
New
play
York
here.
Jets, the
Yeah.
New York.
No, Jersey Jets.
They didn't even take our name.
Here's
resent that.
the
That's why I
reason.
don't like 'em.
Here's the reason.
Play here in
Growing
New
up, here in Trenton, we get just the Philadelphia stations.
Yeah, that's why.
Mind you, this is
You
before.
get to the stadium in 25
You're a
minutes.
slave to mass media then.
Here's the thing. You got to remember, this is before growing up. This is before cable, when you had the choice between
2, 4,
cable,
5, 7.
Yes. But for me, it was 3, 6.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And 10.
Philly, yeah.
All Philly.
Yeah.
So I grew up, and when you go to McDonald's and they used to give us the glasses. My first glass was Ron Jaworski.
Oh no!
You see what I'm saying?
No.
So yes. So
Oh.
for me, it was always the Eagles.
How
it was
awful.
Eagles.
How
Eagles.
awful for you.
I couldn't. Yeah. So
I feel like going beep beep for the Amico commercials. That he's on there, you know?
listen,
Hey,
man.
hey, beep, beep.
I just got finished telling you I'm a veteran who suffers from PTSD, and I'm an Eagles fan. You really want to talk about?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I got all these.
all
I got
cool.
these. I got these heavy ass coins.
Leo, whatever you
that can
say
be
is good with
thrown. You know we known for throwing stuff. I got 10 rounds. I got 15 rounds right here that can do some damage.
Well, seriously,
Yeah,
though.
get about 15 pounds on me, too.
I really wouldn't. I can't say never. I'm not prone to doing it, but what if in a moment of passion, Lefty picked up one of these and threw it and hit the governor in the head?
Oh, could I
would
do
you,
that?
Would you blame him for hurling one of your coins? Because I got to tell you, talk about a newsworthy event. I mean, you'd go down, but why? would do it?
Okay.
No,
Like-
don't do the
like-
Beavis and Butthead thing there.
In all honesty, no, I wouldn't allow that to happen.
I know.
And the reason why I wouldn't allow it to happen is because when this was given, it was because of who gave it to me and why it was given.
What happened?
So,
Did we miss something? What's happening here? Did we miss something?
No,
Hi there. Hi.
My name is Marilyn, and I have lupus.
You have I'll give her a mic. How you doing, Marilyn? I'm Lefty.
I'm doing
This is Jim and Leo.
Yeah, nobody can hear you.
We can't, just give her a mic.
We're
Yeah,
broadcasting.
I'm doing okay, but a lot of people don't realize that my doctor, they want to put me on all this narcotic medicine, which I'm just refusing.
You don't want that.
Percocet and
Really?
Oxycontin.
No.
For
and
lupus,
all
you
that.
say.
You don't want that.
Yes.
That's serious.
And they
Yeah.
don't understand. People that don't have the pain, I guess, they might just smoke it to get high or whatever. Marijuana helps.
It helps you.
You would not believe
I
how
don't
it
think
helps.
think lupus is on the list
No,
of
it's not.
accept. But
But
you
it's-
give
it's-
us one
it's-
more
it's an
thing.
incurable, painful disease where
know.
your
But we
red
can
blood
also- right.
cells attack you. It's
It's
just like
called-
crippling arthritis.
Palliative care is
Yeah.
very important when you have painful
Yep.
disease. But if lupus isn't on the list of acceptable indications for getting state-sanctioned marijuana to help, then it should be, just based on what you say.
Yeah.
And we are going to be trying to add new indications. The governor just walked by and didn't want to hear
Governor
any.
who?
Yes, he ignored us.
He just
Slim
ignored.
Jim.
You don't
Yeah,
care.
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim, did you say?
Do you know me?
Did you call him Slim Jim?
Yes, I did. I called him that to his face.
You know what? I've never heard him called Slim anything.
I've
But
never heard that either.
Wow. I call him Jumbo Jim.
yeah. And I'm
I like
sorry.
that
What's
better.
it,
Is
what's
it something I can sign, or do I need to put my name or anything?
what's your name again? Because what?
Marilyn Williams.
Marilyn, I want to be able to. I don't want to refer to you as this woman stopped by and was
Marilyn.
and, fed us some new information about lupus. And while I'm hanging my head feeling bad for you, make me laugh when I don't want to laugh, Marilyn. That was good.
I wish I had
Me
it.
too.
So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and doing that. More people would.
Thank you.
Sometimes patients do show up.
I hope you
if
feel
y'all
better.
are out here, what can people do to help promote it? What can we do? Is
Go
this-
register and vote.
Yeah.
Register
I'm a-
and vote.
I'm a
No,
registered voter.
then go tell the neighbor on the left and the neighbor on the right to go register to vote.
And
Yeah, I can tell them as much as they smoke.
there's a way to get them to register,
go.
right?
The actual factual answer to your question
Yeah.
is go to your neighbor to the left and your neighbor to the right and tell them to register and vote. That is the
That's the
answer.
answer.
It's not. I'm not trying to.
Yeah, I
You're right.
understand exactly.
Yeah,
But,
like here's the thing, because see what happens is that you have folks who talk to you and they talk around you and
Exactly.
they say catchy phrases and all this other stuff, but and then you feel good and you feel inspired and then you walk away and guess what? You didn't even get the actual answer to your question.
And-
So I'm going to, since you asked a direct question, I think that because you are a citizen, it is my responsibility. You are owed a direct answer.
Yeah.
That's what we don't, and that is what has happened, particularly in politics today. We have a way of saying nice things and talking around things, but at this point, things are so bad. Nice done went out the window, and now we have, and there's work that has to be done. And so, in order for this work to be done, let's be honest and let's speak directly. It doesn't have to become racial. It doesn't have to become gender. It just has to be the truth. And the truth is that, and I said this earlier, in this city, the city of Trenton has less than 8% voting. And so that means that you have like 7,000,
Not taken seriously.
6,000 that actually vote. And so when the question is how did things get to be so bad, and how are we continuously hiring unqualified people to hold very high level positions? Yes. The answer, the actual answer to that question is no one is registered to vote. That's how you get them out. Stop looking at CNN. Stop looking at Fox. Stop looking at.
Oh, Fox,
No.
anyway.
What I'm saying, and the reason it's not because I don't want you to look at. I'm just telling you, like,
So they're against it.
no. I'm telling you not to look at that because if you are someone who actually watches that, you actually should be taking that time to go register and vote, and then get other people to go register and vote. There is a pathology in this city, in this state, that does not allow for folks like you to even be heard. The governor was just here and he just demonstrated that for us in person.
Yeah.
So
Sad.
rather than go try to scream and yell at the governor or the mayor or the city council, how about I just come straight and talk to you and tell you what you need to do and tell you who you need to go talk to. And that's it.
And
You hear that?
I
Go
really
on.
appreciate that. My doctor told me if I was in another state, I would have medical marijuana.
Many other states you
because
would.
of the pain that the lupus
I wonder-
caused.
Now, Marilyn, when you asked the question, and I sat here and I gave you an answer, did you feel as though you were heard?
Yeah, I heard it.
You had a direct
I had
answer.
a
And
direct-
you asked a direct question and you got a direct answer. That's now. Let me explain something to you. That is technically the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
If you have seen what you have seen, it happen in other ways. That's what's currently happening. That's what you have not been getting. And the thing is that you're not alone in that way of thinking. So again, the answer to your question is to register and get yours. And if you had the numbers, particularly the population of the city of Trenton, then he can't ignore you.
You're right. And
He
I'm
can't.
like, I have to go to this library to do something for my grandson. My leg is hurting, and when I go home, I'm going to smoke my rest of my joint so that I won't hurt.
Congratulations.
And
Good
Governor
for you, Marilyn.
Christie can
Thank you
kiss
for
my
sharing
ass.
that.
Phil,
Excuse, Governor Christie can kiss my ass.
Marilyn, I wish you, I wish you peace and blessings, and I hope you feel better. Thank
Yeah.
you.
God
and
bless
I hope
you.
he's in earshot. I hope a big fat piece of shit.
Oh, these kids. Oh,
Oh, you can't talk about the
Okay.
governor like that. That's our governor.
I want to apologize.
I wanna apologize.
Anybody
There's
that's
kids,
in
yeah.
earshot.
Sorry.
Sorry,
Her
children.
passion,
Sorry about that.
passion is duly noted, though. You know, there's a woman in pain, and the governor is
Yeah, she is in
certainly
pain.
not.
Yes.
When
not-
you're in pain, you
not
can't be
helping
responsible
us.
for what you say. I've said
Yes.
some horrible things when I was in pain.
No, you say some horrible things anyway, even when you're not.
And just so everyone
But-
knows, Marilyn did
but
actually
the-
personally apologize to the children.
She
and
did.
They hurt her.
Yeah. Well, there's, you know, but it's. I understand.
Did you see?
people's
Did you
pain.
see that? Did you
Yeah.
see that interaction, that demonstration, that
Yeah.
the way it was?
I would.
Now you would think.
I
now
would like
that's-
to add
Yeah.
that the empowerment comes after you do register to vote. The idea that she could walk on down to Assemblyman Gutierrez's office. It's right at the end of the thing there, and he's supportive. But to say, I'm a registered voter, they hear what you say after that.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And when they know,
Yeah.
so the first step is exactly what you said. Before you do anything else, register to vote, because if you don't, what you say is going to be meaningless to anybody who's in power.
Well, see, the thing is that the question comes with a whole lot of emotion. The question comes with a crap load of emotion.
Yeah.
There's anger. There's feeling.
Well,
the whole
I-
nine
yeah,
yards.
yeah,
And
we
what
can
I have
feel
to,
that.
and what we have to do is we have to say, okay, well, you actually have to. Someone needs to give you a straight up answer, a real answer.
Yeah.
And
this
that's
is
what. And that's what they.
This is what. Yeah, we're here because we never have been able to get straight up answers. So we took it upon ourselves to come here and tell people we wouldn't be here if somebody did to us what you just did with her. We wouldn't be here if our own legislators did that, if the administration did it, if the health department did it, if we had our questions answered.
Well, you also have to not just with the governor, but just with people in general. You have to again know your audience.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people in the audience do not see us as human. There has to be
a
some
lot
sort
of this going on.
Yeah,
You don't
there
want-
has to
you
be
don't
some
see
sort
it-
of
you don't connect here like you do here right
yes.
now.
And we don't talk. And not only that though, but we use language that completely turns us off.
Oh, I'm sorry. And
within the
for
first
people
couple-
who weren't watching, when I said here, I had
Talking about
I had
my,
an
iPhone.
and I was doing the thumb motions.
yes.
And then when I said here, I was motioning between us because we're in person.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to do that. I forget that more people probably listen than watch.
And most folks in this city, and here's what's common in this city, in your city, in all cities in the state of New Jersey. A word that is not being used a lot, is not being demonstrated at all, not at all, but not by a lot of people, and that is dignity.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be a dignified people, but we are acting in an undignified manner.
We certainly
and we and
saw that earlier.
and we have not, and what was just demonstrated when Marilyn was here and she and I had our back and forth, you know what I'm saying, was, first of all, Marilyn, obviously she's an elder, so that right there in of itself commands a certain level of respect, where it's yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir, that type of thing, Then on top of that, you know what I'm saying, she's hurting.
She is.
She's in pain.
I could see in her face when
So
she was talking about it.
so you add that to just the overall respect factor that this total stranger just walked up with.
Yeah.
I gave her that right off the bat.
And she had for a moment a venue, a microphone to speak into to people that she doesn't No, people walking by, and that you answered her question directly with respect and dignity for her. That was a 101 a courtesy in getting things done, getting to the next step. Ascertain what is the problem. It's clear.
It's also the basis behind why so many people like Lefty get upset when someone treats
I
them
was
with
upset
disrespect.
too, by the
Yes.
way. I got to
But
tell you,
I'm
man,
saying the
you
way
know,
he
Couldn't
way
tell.
the way he demonstrated, the way his emotion was clear. At some point, his emotions were clearly in
I've
were
seen
on the,
I've
in
seen
the
what
driver's seat.
I've seen what he does
Yeah,
to kids.
We
I've seen what he
do,
does
yes.
to families.
And it just-
it's
and it's
disgusting.
Yes.
I've seen it, and Lefty knows. You know, I lived it with my late wife, who could only move her head for the last decade of her life. So, you know, I've seen things actually a lot of people haven't seen.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that if we do want to establish channels with the governor, which we do, one of us has to. We hope to.
Okay.
You know, I don't want it to be a fulfilled prophecy by us.
Okay.
You know, I'm loving your reaction. But I have to be the one just trying to talk.
Yeah,
because
cooler heads. Someone's got to. Both of y'all can't go left.
Yeah,
I totally
and
get it.
Lefty can testify.
You're being
that, in fact,
disingenuous,
I
Jim.
have a good amount of passion for this that I do have to corral at certain moments. And
You're good. You're better than I am.
Yeah, I didn't tell them the cones are coming back. By the way,
They're here. The cones are here, Governor.
Yeah, there they go.
The cones are back, Governor. How does that make you feel?
There you
Want to eat some
go.
more M&Ms now, Governor?
That's the best reaction we got. I'm bringing the rest of them. Not next week because we're going to be at the annex.
He's binging.
How often are you going to be able to come and sit with us? You know.
I mean, you know what, man? I'm one of those people.
And you're welcome anytime, is what I'm saying.
You put the call out, I'm here.
Okay.
Anytime.
I will
Anytime.
definitely, yeah.
Well,
I'll definitely come.
also I want to be able to be in touch with you. Emailing is fine. So that I want to see if I can set up somewhere where we could go, and I'll take you there and back. Usually it'll be right around here in Trenton or just to an office. But starting with, we got to get what you say into a Reader's Digest form in the form of a letter. You know, back it up. I mean, you know, and what we used to do last year would be go to the Senate Majority or Minority Office or the Assembly Majority or Minority Office, which is the Senate Majority Office would be for Democrats, and you have a senator and you have two assembly people, and everybody, if you live in Trenton, you got support for what you're saying already. I mean, at the state level, you're a senator.
Yeah, one of my personal
your people
goals
are cool.
is to.
But they got to know that you stand ready to help them with other legislators.
Well, let me say this. Number one of my personal goals is I so want to meet Cory Booker.
Really?
Yes,
We can arrange that. I think we can.
I so want to meet him. I would love to sit down.
I think we actually could arrange that at some point this summer.
I would love to sit down with him and counsel with him.
Well, he stopped by one of our gatherings 2 years ago.
Yeah, he was here.
Awesome.
And now, okay, let me explain. What happened is he went by kind of like that. Car went by and beeped, and we didn't know if it was a beep, 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 screw you, or beep, 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 way to go. So we were thinking about it, and then it was almost like a drive-by. Here comes the same vehicle again, and pulled up, window rolls down, it's Cory Booker. So we go over to the car, and one at a time, he talked to everybody that was there to talk to him until we were done with him. He didn't look at his watch and have somebody pulling. He came around to say he supports what we're doing, and I did go down to Washington to watch him introduce the CARES Act, which is a bill very supportive of medical marijuana and cannabis in general. So I went down with another coalition member, and we had a chance to talk down there. And Roscoe is chief of staff. Was amenable to doing we do a TV thing at Princeton once, a TV taping in Princeton, community TV station. And I haven't been in touch with Roscoe in a while, but it is not out of the question if I look at their calendar. There's a lot of days off when Senator Booker is back in New Jersey. And I don't think it's out of the question that he would stop by again based on his enthusiasm the first time and the fact that he didn't have the CARES Act. He didn't have a bill to lobby for passage, and now he does. The thing is, we can show a quick video snippet of what we were doing today and say that we would love for him to come and that this would be Lefty and Leo and me would be the ones at the table on the day of his,
And that's a message that would definitely get to the governor. Like, you walk by this guy.
Yeah.
He's a
Well, that's
he's a
also
combat veteran.
the video that's
So
going to
since
help
you don't
get
have
the senator
since,
here.
since you don't have time to talk to him because he's not worthy of your time, as far as because
Damn.
see, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like you have okay. So as far as you're concerned, I am not worthy. I have not earned.
That was like
Wow.
scripted.
I have
That was
not
like
earned-
scripted. It's like the governor
I'm
said,
just
"What can I
saying,
do to help you?"
I'm giving you my perspective.
What does Governor
And-
Christie
and,
earn?
And so what I feel like he just did and just demonstrated on television for the world to see and everything like that is that as far as he's concerned, that as a model citizen, I've never been arrested. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from Trenton Central High School. I am from here, and I did all these, and I have all these
A local
accomplishments.
hero.
Yes,
Yes.
and the thing is that I am not worthy of even a look.
No.
No.
Even though he knew he because you told him,
Yeah.
you guys told
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
who I was.
Oh, we'll see
and
how
that
that
wasn't
looked, yeah.
even enough to get not even a wave, a look, anything. Okay, that's fine. I'm not angry. I'm not mad. I'm just like, okay, now he has shown me. Now, second thing is I have never personally met Cory Booker, but I have watched him, from afar.
Yeah.
And I am just like, I used to always say, man, it was a scary time. It was thinking of what the country's going to be like when President Obama leaves is scary for me. But then when I look at Cory Booker, he makes me feel better. He makes me feel a lot safer to know. And when I say that, I mean meaning that he makes me feel like I still have a voice. That there's someone, not just because he's black, but just because he makes me feel like he's still like he generally has my best interests in mind.
I feel the same way about it.
The current governor just let me know.
Yeah.
Front and center,
What a difference.
my best interests are not
No.
in his mind. Now, and here's the thing. Even when we've had a natural disaster, he showed me that he does not have my best interests in mind because he wasn't even here.
Yeah.
This is the burden of your command. It's not convenient. It's not going to be easy, and you don't get to complain about it. You asked for this.
Yeah.
You asked for this. So no, I don't feel sorry for you. No, I don't feel because you're the governor. You're not supposed to. You want to cry? That's what you do with your wife when you get behind closed doors at night.
You think he
know
does?
what I'm saying? I'm sure he does. But what I'm saying to you is that I'm not concerned with that. All I want to know is, are you doing your job?
No, he's not.
And
that's why he's crying to his wife.
And when I look at the historical data and the numbers, there's my answer.
Yeah.
Not an opinion from somebody, not Lefty telling me no, he ain't doing his job, not someone. No, I actually looked it up, and there's paperwork that says he said this, he did this, and this is what it added up to. Him not doing his job. Okay.
What about him just walking by you just now? Was that anecdotal or was that just validation?
It just validates everything. It just backs up. That confirms and cosigns what the numbers have been telling me.
Yeah.
And so when I do the same thing with the local government, when I go see the Trenton City Council and the mayor, and I look at what have they done, and I look at the data, and I look at the numbers, and I say, I don't care what good idea you introduce and everything like that. The numbers say you ain't doing a good job. It's not good enough, which means you do not have the tools necessary to bring about the things that I need to handle this city. Your infrastructure is jacked up.
Would you ever consider being a freeholder? Running for
No.
freeholder? No.
Because I have business aspirations, and I want to separate. I want to. I don't. Because the thing is that I don't want to. I would like to get rich, but I don't want that. I just want to make a living, because it's more about the mission. That's the thing about. That's what you get with veterans. We are mission oriented.
Yeah.
That's all we know how to do.
I like that.
We only know how to. We got to accomplish the mission.
Need a directive,
And if it
yeah.
means that we got to. If it means and this is what. This is when you say thank you to veterans' families. That's what you're saying thank you for. You saying thank you for putting up with allowing your loved one to spend an extra amount of ordinary time to do whatever it is for me. That's the sacrifice that the families of the veterans, not just the veterans, but their families, and they're the ones that you can't identify. It's not like you can walk down the street and say there go a veteran and his family. You don't know what we look like. You have no idea until you put us into a setting where you ask for all of us to show up, and we come out in droves. You see what I'm saying? You know, Governor Christie has veterans on his staff. You know what I'm saying? And based upon the things that have been going on and everything like that, I can bet you that there's a few of them who aren't happy with him.
No, they're just lackeys.
They're not going to tell him, though.
Yes men and lackeys.
Yeah, they're not going to tell him, though, because they can't.
Henchmen.
You know, and then on top of that, they can't talk. There's only but so much conversation that he could have with them in that respect.
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, I when I look at my leaders and everything like that, I want to know what are the things that led up to that make you a leader. You know what I'm saying? I've had exposure to a number of people. So if someone says to me, hey, Leo Bridgewater, what makes you a leader? Well, I learned from this guy, I learned from this guy, and I learned from this guy, and I watched this guy work, and I did this, and I watched him.
And then you go,
and
boom,
then,
drop the mic.
Yeah, and
Thank
then
you.
that's how I
That'll
learned.
shut them
yeah.
right up.
Yeah, I'm not going to
Shut
sit
me
here
up.
and tell you I got my degree from Harvard, and I got this, and I did that. No.
I was about to talk crap to you until I saw those medals. I'm like, all right. Leo,
Yeah, I was
you got
actually
it, man.
I was one of the members of my church said to me one day, we were talking, I was telling some of this stuff, and she said, so when are you going to write a book? And I was like, what? You know, and I told her, I said, one day I was sitting in the port of Naples in Mergellina. There's a coffee shop in Italy. And I used to go there because the owner and his wife were very good people, and I would practice my Italian with them. Io parlo italiano, mi italiano molto bene. So I would talk to them. And one day I was sitting there reading a book. It was a Saturday, and I look up, and there's cruise ships, and I could see Capri and Ischia, and I see people getting their stuff, and it hit me. Damn, I live here. How many black kids from Trenton, New Jersey, could actually say they live in this country and do the things that I was doing?
Not many.
I never took the time. I was so busy doing the things that I was doing. I never really took the time to look back and to say, oh, you did this. No, because it was always about the mission. I didn't care about anything else. I just wanted to accomplish my mission. Why? Because I had leaders that invoked that type of loyalty. I'm a soldier. I live by 8 core values: loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. That's what I live. I live by those. They're called the 8 Army, the 7 Army core values, and I teach it to my sons. Because when they when they step outside my door, they don't walk out feeling already like they're behind because of the color of their skin. They don't feel like they have to. They need to be. When my son says to me, "Daddy, look," I want him to feel as though he knows his father is watching him, but he can also say something honorable about his father. My grandfather, both of them, served in World War II. One, and neither one of them were cooks.
You can use this, yes? Digital video.
Let me just interrupt real quick because he's time sensitive. Got to leave.
I gotta go. I just want to.
This I want to say for anybody to see. Don't lose. Do you want this or not? You know what this is? This is the governor in here. This is his footage of the governor. He's willing to let you have this if you can take what you want off it.
It's on loan to you.
I have a DVR player somewhere. All right, I have to find it.
You basically need it.
We got to do what it takes by next Thursday, as soon as we can, to get this.
All right, Greg, thank you. Thank you, because my camera didn't work. Hey, I lost my white privilege yesterday. Leo, me and Amaris, we have white privilege.
I'm sorry.
We have white privilege, me and Amaris. That's we have that. And we lost
And that's
it.
real.
It is real.
That's real.
Yeah,
That's
we
real.
want it.
And
That's
we lost
real.
it. Yesterday we lost it for about 20 minutes. We lost our white privilege. Yeah. Yeah, grab your mic there.
Yeah. How did it feel to be how did it feel to be me?
Man.
No. How did it feel to be black? Welcome, brother.
It was weird. It was weird. I was handcuffed on the side of the road.
It was terrible.
Yeah, she was handcuffed too. How'd it feel?
It hurt because they did it too tight, and I have a very bony wrist. So it was painful and sad, and I was cold.
Yeah. And you were scared. Thank you, Greg. And
I was scared. Yeah, I was scared. Very scared.
Now, here's the thing. That what you went through, and it is a scary situation.
Yeah.
It is, and I
Yeah,
believe you.
sure.
Now, here's the thing. That for a lot of the population, particularly in the African American community here, that was nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Right.
doesn't that tell you something like, ooh, that was nothing? Ooh. Yeah. I get it. And normal, regular folk, we understand that it's not like that's not supposed to happen. But because of this, I have to deal with that every day. Now, here's the thing. Never been arrested. Don't know what it's like to wear handcuffs, not even with a chick. Never had that happen.
good for you.
But now, here's the thing. Guess what? That's rare. That is rare for an African-American man born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey, to say, I've never felt handcuffs or been in jail.
Yeah,
And if that's and for that to be rare is a problem. That's a again, because I'm benefiting from the fact that I spent 21 years away from this city. Busy.
Yeah.
Busy as hell,
Then
but
some.
yeah. But it was all positive.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't have a child out of wedlock or anything like that. This is what I have done. I have been there. And so for me, I have to coming back here and hearing you tell me the story about the police grabbing you and putting you in handcuffs and stuff like that. I can't even begin to empathize with that. And because I can't empathize with that is why it's rare. Because there's the assumption that I'm black, because I'm black, that I know what it's like to be on the other side of the law and be locked up and all that other stuff. No. You know what I'm saying? But I understand how it got to be that way when I look at things and everything, and when I look at how things are working. Again, we had the one thing that we have that no other city in this state has is we're a capital city. We're a capital city, and it's occupied by a bunch of people who are in power who are 20 years behind in their way of thinking.
Yeah.
This is 2016, and you are talking, walking, and making decisions like it's 1996. Wake up.
Yeah,
And so therefore, no need. So if I go to the city council chambers and I listen to them and everything like that, I actually had no need to even say anything to them. I didn't have to turn around to see. I told you before he walked up here, and we didn't even know he was coming. I told you. How many times somebody got to show you that they don't care about you before you actually believe them? How many times somebody got to tell you that they don't care about you before you actually believe them? I believed the man long before his ass showed up. I wasn't surprised. I was not surprised. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I was not angry. Again, I haven't been in this state long enough for me to take the things that have happened personally. But now that I am here, see, I'm a soldier. I'm used to getting things done. I'm used to working with people who demand. And if you don't know the answer, the next time I see you, you better have the answer. And the thing is that, and I'm used to saying that, I'm used to telling that to my soldiers. Listen, if I come to you and I ask you a question because of your position, I expect the best answer that you can give me. Not no answer, the best answer. And if you refuse, now you didn't tell me you don't have the answer. No, you told me you refuse to answer. Oh, really? Okay. Now I'm going to leave. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to sit here and throw insults and all that other stuff at you. I'm not going to do that. No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go get me and my friends, and we're going to have a talk about you. We're going to talk about your job. or the lack thereof, you doing it.
Yeah.
And then I think we need to make some changes, because obviously
Big ones.
you came to see your boss, and you just told your boss to kiss your ass. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna give you something to kiss. All right. I'm gonna give you something to kiss, and that's not just for Chris Christie. That's for Chris Christie, Mayor Eric Jackson, City Council, whoever. That's what that message. That's what the thinking has to be. That's how you are supposed to carry yourself. So even if you walked into that city council chamber, you're supposed to look at your local government officials, and you're supposed to act like you're their boss, because you are their boss. And if they don't give you the right answer, you let them know that you will go talk to somebody who will give you the right answer, because their asses need to go. You don't have the right answer? Let me tell you something. This is Trenton, New Jersey. And if you can't get me the answer, I know I can find somebody that will. You're supposed to, your constituents are bosses. You're their boss.
That's right.
They asked you to for the job. So when you go talk to them, you act like you're their supervisor. And if they don't give you the answer, you demand the right answer. That's the way it works. Because remember what you said. All you got to do is say registered voter, and things tend to change. You damn right.
Yeah.
The problem is that he acts like he's the boss.
Who?
Yeah.
Chris Christie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
he's the man.
You got to take it's because you gave him the power. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you give people power over you, you know what I'm saying? There's a responsibility that comes with that power. There's a way you're supposed to act. I learned this by watching these men and women do the things and make the decisions that they made. And these decisions was life and death decisions that I was watching. So my sense of duty had if I didn't do it, it had the kind of repercussions that it had. People could die for real. If I did not break my ass to make sure that satellite communication link was up, if somebody tried to call home and couldn't get help, they could die. That's scary. That's scary. It's motivating and everything. I will not sleep until that line of communication has been established, so that when our boys go out and they conduct these crazy ass missions like the ones I've been on, you know what I'm saying, they can call home and ask for help when they need it. And so I come back here and I have that same attitude. I'm your boss. Mm-hmm. And so when I come to you and I'm standing, Chris Christie walked past his boss.
Yeah.
And ignored me.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He did it to you. He did it to you. He did it to everybody. He walked past his bosses. And anytime you heard him speak, he never says, he doesn't even refer to the people of New Jersey. He doesn't say my responsibility to the people of New Jersey. He doesn't even say that. Are you kidding me? I'm your boss. You're supposed to talk me up. You're supposed to talk me up. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to make sure, I hired you to make sure that just a block away, it doesn't look like a war zone. We're just a block away.
Yeah.
We're a block away. Where you come to, you fly in and out. Every now and then you'll drive up, you know what I'm saying? But you'll fly in and out of this city, and you won't even acknowledge the fact what's happening in your own backyard. Mm-hmm. That's because your house is in Princeton, where it's nice and beautiful, and the birds chirping and all that stuff, and you get to rub noses and elbows with Donald Trump.
Cue the deer.
Yeah, and the thing about it is that he's so used to doing it that you see he even knows what to do when it's done to him. You saw when Donald Trump gave him his ass to kiss and told him get on the plane and go. Donald Trump said that to somebody from Jersey. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He's from hey man, people in Jersey don't do that. We don't talk like that. We sure as hell don't allow people to talk to us. You're not gonna just say any old thing to me and think I'm just not gonna say nothing back. Are you kidding? I'm from Jersey.
He bitched up. He bitched up real quick. Governor.
That was the embarrassment on my part.
Governor.
Because I wish that, because I'm not going to sit here and say I wish Donald Trump would have did that to me. No, see, the thing is, Donald Trump would have known not to do something like that. People only get away with what you allow them to get away with.
True.
They only allow you, they're only going to act that way if you allow them to act that way. I'm not saying I allow Chris Christie to act that way. I just don't have anything to say to him. And he obviously has not, he told us he don't have nothing to say to me. Okay, cool. I know who I can go talk to, though. Okay, we'll see. Because when I start talking to the people, and the people start talking to other people, and then we get around and everything like that, and then we start seeing the number of registered voters going up and everything like that. Folks, y'all got to understand how it works. And the way it works is not when you're just standing out here screaming and everything like that. It's in the numbers. They deal with numbers. So so an aide would walk up to Governor Christie and say, 84,000 people just registered to vote and they voted. He's going to what? Voted for what? Who cares? They voted. It doesn't even matter what they voted for. Just the fact that that's the type of stuff that brings Bernie Sanders here to do a rally.
Yep.
That's the type of stuff that brings that, and they voted to legalize medicinal marijuana, both recreationally and medicinally. That's one big you to Chris Christie in your own backyard. Yup. And it's the way that we don't have to keep going, because see, they're bullies. I found out during my research that they took the state buildings. They don't even pay us rent.
What do you mean?
Every building that the state is in this city does not pay rent to the city of Trenton.
Doesn't pay taxes, no. No, they pay, there's a payment in lieu of taxes, a pilot payment, which is
Oh, really?
very inadequate, yes. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
See
interesting.
how, remember when I told you I look at numbers, and I had to,
There you go.
and I sat here for a year and a half
Wow.
and was watched and looked and analyzed. These are things that I'm finding out. Yes, Mercer County, above the fact that Mercer County was the first county in the state of New Jersey to 100% eradicate veteran homelessness, Mercer County also got bullied out of property. And we don't pay, no.
Yeah,
That was before Christie, though.
The city of Trenton's getting ripped off.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
question about that. With
So,
all these state buildings here,
yeah.
and they just do not get compensated for the property that they take up. And this is prime property too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful property.
Yeah,
here.
but we don't see that. That tells you how much they think about you. Now, here's the thing. What's the plan? What could you do to change that? I tell you exactly what to do. Shut the water off. Shut the water off. Shut it off. Shut it off. You don't even pay a water bill. Shut it off. That's all. When you pay rent, you got to pay utilities. You ain't paying no.
Yeah,
Shut that off.
Trenton really is a war zone. You know, these inner cities in New Jersey, the post-industrial cities like Trenton and Newark and Jersey City and Atlantic City and Camden, you know, they're all the same. It's ground zero for the war on drugs is what it is.
Yeah.
And here is where its impact is felt so strong.
Yeah.
You know, the ACLU has documented that if you're black, you have a 3 times greater chance of being arrested for a marijuana offense than a white person. Even though blacks and whites use marijuana at the same rate. So, you know, it's just so unfair, you know, the disproportionate impact on minorities. And where do the minorities live? They live in the inner cities. You know, you arrest people in the inner cities and you take away fathers from their families and you know, take away parental guidance. You know, this is destined to last for generations. It's a horrible situation we have going on, and it's not being adequately addressed.
My wife and I, we have these discussions all the time, and she's always rolling her eyes at me. And understand something. My wife has a PhD in statistical math. She's
Okay.
There's
your
only
numbers.
argue but so much. Okay. I only argue. There's only but so much arguing Leo can do. But what I do, one of the things that she and I were talking about, she asked me. I said, she was like, well, what do you think about this and what do you think about that? And I said, well, here's the fundamental question for any Trentonian and wherever city you come from. Here's a question all right. So here's a question you got to ask yourself: who are you most loyal to? Are you most loyal to the city of Trenton or the people of the city of Trenton? Two very different things.
Yeah.
Because see, the thing is that like for a guy like myself, I'm mission oriented. All I want is what's best for my city, even if it means having to support the guy that I didn't want in there. That's all I want. You know what I'm saying? But I can't. It's hard for me to follow along when I know everybody ain't say nothing, but just a few. Take the same message, take out the word Trenton and fill it in with your hometown, and I guarantee you can pretty much say the same thing. And the thing is that the answer is the same for everyone. Register and vote. And if you know somebody, everybody you talk to, you need to talk to them about going to register and vote. Because the one thing that we have that is a voice is numbers.
Yeah, I agree. Voting really is important. The problem is that people are so discouraged. They throw some bums out after 4 or 8 years, and then new bums come in. It's really the corporate interests that the elected officials represent rather than the people of their districts.
Well, you came into, here's the thing, you have made, over the last 20 years, okay, since I've been gone, 94, okay, over the last 20 years, anybody who has ran for anything, done any, been in any of that other stuff, when you came in, you knew that everybody wasn't going to co-sign you being in there, number one, and number two, you knew you were going to fail. So you just needed some time so you could make your money and get the hell out. We just lost this city just lost a superintendent, a board of the superintendent. The guy just walked out. He just walked out. He just walked away. $192,000 a year job, and he didn't tell nobody he was leaving until the day he left. Bye, y'all, and I ain't coming back tomorrow. That's what so that tells you to have the gall to do something like that in this city tells you that our standing and our reputation is one that does not command some respect. How do we get that respect back? We bring in an industry and we lead it. Since we're the capital city, then we lead by example. In the face of there's a lack of leadership within the city that has made it so that the people don't even care what happens when it goes down and everything like that until it has a direct effect on them. So when welfare benefits get reduced or taken away completely, okay. When you got to when you got to take a drug test to receive welfare benefits, now you want to hoop and holler. You know what I'm saying? When a cop accidentally or purposely shoots somebody that shouldn't have been shot, unjustifiable shooting, whatever, now you want to hoop and holler. Okay, explain something to you. And this is not for you, but when I look at what's going on in this city, the people that I really want to hold to task is the quote-unquote leaders of the African-American community. Where are you when black people are killing other black people?
The council wouldn't even talk about decriminalizing cannabis with Ed Fortune. He had to light up a joint inside the council meeting.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? You know what's funny? I read about that. And here's the thing. There was actually, in that article I read, and I can't remember where, but there was reaction. Someone wrote about the reaction from the people and everything like that. Okay, here's the thing. The people were in there, and when you say you didn't want to have to vote on it or anything like that, and all those people got upset, and guess what you did? Nothing.
Yeah,
City council didn't blink. They didn't think nothing of it. They just told y'all. Matter of fact, they even told y'all. Matter of fact, we ain't gonna have this meeting. We'll talk to y'all another time, and we'll call you and let you know when the next meeting is. Hold up. Yeah. I'm your boss. Yeah. You don't tell me when you go. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to go.
Yeah. I submitted that resolution to the city council in Trenton. And, it was a resolution that was identical to the resolution that Asbury Park passed. And Asbury Park passed it unanimously with their city council and their mayor. And it was a resolution that acknowledged the harms that are being done to our community through the war on drugs. And it acknowledged the fact that we could get a great deal of tax benefits if we legalized and regulated drugs. And all it did was it didn't legalize drugs, didn't want to legalize or decriminalize drugs in Trenton. All it did was want to have the city of Trenton go on record as supporting this as a new approach, a much better approach to our failed policy of prohibition, and urge the governor and the legislature to pass legislation to legalize drugs in New Jersey. That's all it would do, and the city council wouldn't even talk about it. You know, they wouldn't even discuss it. So it was very disappointing in the city of Trenton. And you know, the leaders just aren't even ready for a discussion about this now. So
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's not. Here's the thing, and let me help you out with this. It's not that they're not ready to have a discussion. It's not that. They are incapable of having a discussion. They are intellectually and academically inept for that kind of conversation because they are stuck in 1996. They are 20 years behind in their way of thinking, and their way of thinking is reflective of is not always reflective of the general population in terms of what the consensus amongst the people are. Now, here's the thing: the people are not even united to register to vote. There's no need. Like, there is absolutely no need to go full bore or have the best of the best when you know everybody's not even going to come out to vote.
yeah, but the community is so disorganized. The community,
Yes.
I say, we're living in a war zone here in
Yes,
Trenton. You know,
yeah,
and you know, there's no organized organization possible. Really, it's such
Yeah.
a disrupted place. You know,
But again, no one see. I don't want to. What I don't want to do is I don't want to get into the cycle of the same cycle that I see a lot of the community organizers and activists do, which is constantly come at the city government, constantly talk about what they are not doing, and all this other stuff. Because I don't need much more to know that we have unqualified people holding high level jobs. So now I'm at the what's the plan mode. What's our marching orders mode? And that's what my disappointment with a lot of the local pastors in the churches here.
Yeah.
Because your flock is getting shot and killed and beaten,
and they're
doing it to each other.
and they're blaming the victims.
Yes,
you know?
and you are not doing anything. You're not, and when I say not, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say you're not doing anything. You're not saying anything. You have not given us our marching orders. You're the shepherd. We follow you. But what you do is you ride around in your nice car and you look good and you say a couple of come to Jesus moments and we all supposed to feel good, but there is no real concrete plan.
Well, they support the powers that be. They say the problem is drugs. We have to get drugs out of our community. The problem is not drugs. The problem is a prohibition. The problem is the laws against drugs.
And also the problem is that all y'all, there's no, and I mean this with no
That's what's
disrespect or
destroying
anything
the
like
community.
that, but there's too many old people in high level jobs with old way thinking. That's all it is. It's too many old. There's no progress. Listen, Google held some years ago. Google held a competition where they wanted all the cities in the United States to write in and present and give a presentation about why they should be picked as a city that Google would invest into the infrastructure to bring faster internet speed and everything like that. Trenton didn't do a thing, and we're a capital city. Every other city in America, Trenton didn't even know about it. So when I think about, so again, infrastructure, when you talk about these things, when you talk about, here was a bright idea. They stopped enforcing parking tickets and all that other stuff in various parts of the city. We've been here for God knows how long. I have not seen one traffic cop walk by.
Thank God. I just looked.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. Yeah, but what I'm saying
They don't do that here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the way we're supposed to bring in revenue, the means by how we generate revenue. We've decided what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate our efforts in generating revenue by locking you up and making you pay fines, and then making you keep going back to court, and then taking you through the whole rigmarole, and then because somebody is getting hooked up by the prison industrial complex, and they're feeding it. We just saw not too long ago in the media, in the national media, that some judge got locked up or got in trouble because he was feeding feeding a prison complex.
children.
Yeah,
Juveniles,
and then come to find out he was invested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's scary,
Yeah,
man.
there's a city. I can't remember the name of the city, but they're upset because the numbers in their prison are dwindling, and they don't know what they're going to do, and they're upset. See how screwed up we are in our way of thinking? You're mad that your prison ain't filled? Isn't that supposed to be a good thing? And this is in a, and mind you, but then you got these cities where you got colleges, who are closing down. You got a city where the kids go to school with black mold and they do all this other stuff. But your main concern is making sure that you lock up enough people. Wow. Yeah. And again, the governor walked by and told us, see, folks don't understand what they look like to other people. I want to get a video camera and I want to walk through the city of Trenton and I want to take pictures of everybody, and then I want to go to Amsterdam. And I want to show this to just a regular person walk down the street and say, what do you think about this? When you see this, what do you see? Could you imagine what the answers would be? We look like this. Remember, I went to Trenton High.
You don't speak English.
Yeah, I went to Trenton High, and when I was there, the
Everybody
Trentonian called
speaks
us.
English in Amsterdam.
When I was at Trenton High, they snuck a reporter into my high school. The Trentonian.
Snuck him in.
They snuck a reporter
boy.
to pose as a student.
It's not going to end well.
And he did it for he did it for he was there for like 4 or 5 days.
Wow.
And he and then he wrote a story. And guess what the headline said? Inside the zoo.
Oh boy.
Inside the zoo. And he just went in, talked about us and all this other stuff. 20 some odd years later, guess what? That article is true. It's true.
I graduated from Trenton High in '66. That's going to be my 50th anniversary coming up. And Trenton High was a very good school in '66. I was very proud to be a member of the class of '66. But it kind of went downhill. The riots started here in Trenton in '67, and then there was a great white flight to the suburbs, and lost a lot of tax base. And I don't think we ever really recovered from those riots.
Yeah, my mom graduated from Steiner. And my aunt graduated with Samuel Alito when he went to Steiner.
Alito,
yeah. So my family heritage within the city and the surrounding area is deep. My sense of my uncle Mike Byard, who lives in Lawrence, New Jersey. He was one of the people that was responsible for all the black ops stuff going on in Vietnam when the Secretary of Defense was saying we weren't over there. He was one of those ones that was over there when we were saying we weren't over there. And he's in a few books and stuff like that. He was a Green Beret in Vietnam. He's a FOB 29 survivor. That's one of the places where we lost the most special operations soldiers in the history of our military. And he survived that attack. He was one of the ones that made it. We lost 29, I think. Green Berets. And my grandfather served in World War II, the U.S. Army Air Corps. My other grandfather served in World War II and Korea and the Navy. None of them were cooks. They did some pretty deep stuff. So my sense of public service and my patriotism and everything like that, it's deep for me. And the thing is that I've said this all before and everything, and then at the end at the end of me giving this spiel, someone says, "Oh yeah, well where you from?" I'm from Trenton, New Jersey. Trenton? They made people like you from Trenton? What you mean people like? You see what I'm saying? That just and I had to catch myself because I was like, I can't help the way perceptions of the way people think of my city because of what we put out there. I can't help what people's perceptions of my state is because look at what we put out there. I'm sorry, the entire time, from the time that Governor dropped out and started supporting Donald Trump, I was embarrassed. He was so embarrassed. He was so embarrassing. As a citizen of the state of New Jersey, I was so embarrassed, and then I continue to be embarrassed. When he put his hands in that father's face, it was embarrassing. And I was at Joint Base Balad in Iraq when watching him do that. When 60 Minutes did the expose on New Jersey's medicinal marijuana program and how people had to leave the state to go to Colorado and decided to stay there. And
Brian Wilson.
Like
CNN,
as a regular citizen,
we
I was
CNN.
embarrassed. It was embarrassing. They were talking, and prior to that, the only thing that I was embarrassed about Trenton was, before I knew anything else, was that the DC sniper bought his car from here.
Oh yeah, great. That's wonderful.
See, that was the see how my frame of reference, how old it is, and how disconnected I was from this city. So this is the things that we have to deal with, and people. Look, we got to start being honest and lay the facts out, and stop call it for what it really is, instead of doing all the hooping and hollering that obviously hasn't worked based on the numbers. We need to come up with another plan, something that's radical.
No, we have to identify some of the problems, and I think you really touched on it when you mentioned the prison industrial complex. You know, that really has such a disproportionate influence on our policies. It's a huge, huge industry. I was part of it. I worked for the New Jersey Department of Corrections for 22 years as a registered nurse.
I worked for the North Carolina Department of Corrections.
Did you?
I was actually an officer, and I worked at Central Prison in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is a maximum prison. You know, prison. I did that as a job for college.
Yeah.
And then I left there and went to work for Dorothea Dix State Hospital. And I worked with men and women who were not guilty by reason of insanity or incompetent to stand trial. So when I make these assessments and I'm telling you about I psychoanalyze everybody.
We have similar backgrounds. I worked for the Trenton Psychiatric Hospital, which Dorothea Dix founded.
That
was her gem, and that was where she died.
Yeah,
She went back to that hospital
Dream
and
Team
died.
was made there.
Yeah.
So
the disproportionate impact of this. You know, I mean, a huge industry. The substance abuse industry, you know, is part of this prison industrial complex. The correction officers unions, the people who run the prisons, you know, and provide health services. You know, in 1996, when I was working at the New Jersey Department of Corrections, they privatized the health services. So we brought in a private company just to provide, you know, psychological and mental health and physical, you know, health, medical health to the prisoners. And you know, they saved the state some money, but I came to the understanding that there is a real serious problem with having a private industry have a financial interest in keeping a large prison population. You know, that's the real problem with private prisons and the expansion of this private industry. Like you said, they get upset when the prisoner numbers go down. You know, that's crazy. America has 5% of the world's population. We have 25% of the world's prisoners. You know, we already imprison more people than communist China and Soviet Russia together. Yeah. You know, it's
and the thing is, and then we scream freedom at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? And the other thing is that when you really look at it, they also they're upset that their numbers are dwindling, but they're so bold now that it's nothing for them to tell you that they're upset that their numbers are dwindling. There used to be a time when, if that was your way of thinking, you certainly didn't make it public. You understand what I'm saying? You certainly didn't make it public, and they do. So that goes to show that there's no real sense of I'm trying to think of the word, like there's no real sense of accountability to the people. Who cares? I don't care. I'll tell you know what?
It's written into their contracts. You know that the prisoner population has to be maintained at a certain level. So or we pay anyway. And then pressure gets put on to the judges and everything like that, and these municipalities. What we have to do is we have to shift the way we bring in money. One that's not destructive to a population as a whole, because the way things are going, it looks like you're pushing a particular agenda that doesn't sound good for Americans like me. Well, you know, we have to stop campaign contributions. You know, these campaign campaigns should be publicly funded. You know, there should be limits on how much they can spend, and there should be public funding for these, and it should not, the funding for campaigns and for elected officials should not rely on private corporations.
Well, it's been perverted. To be a politician is now a perverted thing. It's become perverted. That's what money did. And the thing is that in a capitalist society, you know what I'm saying, making money trumps everything above all. You know, so in the history books, when you look back on it 50 years from now, and you say, okay, when I study Trenton, what do I have to say? And when I study New Jersey, what do I look like? 50 years from now, they're going to say, oh yeah, they were all about money and capitalism because they locked up their own people and they did this to their own citizens. You know, that's really what it is. The best part about Barack Obama becoming president of the United States is the fact that there was a black man in the office of the White House forced us to have a conversation that we should have had years ago. I'm sorry, my parents should have had it. Okay, but it didn't happen, and then what ended up happening is folks got upset and everything like that, and you know we found out that there's still some things that there's some, as a country as a whole, there's some hurdles that we have to go over.
Yeah, it seemed to really bring out a lot of racism.
Yes,
you know,
it did.
Unfortunately, you know,
Yeah.
and I thought it was such a great progressive thing. I voted for President Obama, and you know. And I still think he's a very decent man and a good president. Although I am disappointed that he didn't do more for drug policy reform. You know, but still, you know, like he could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh, listen. When you,
You know,
like,
we've
like,
seen a lot worse in our lifetime.
I have friends who on Facebook, and they send me some really messed up things and stuff like that. And I say to them, let me ask you something. Hindsight being 2020 now, you still feel that good about Sarah Palin? Or did we dodge a bullet? Which is it? Do you think because some of y'all went hard for that, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all went hard over Sarah Palin. A lot of y'all still go hard over Sarah Palin. Looking back on it now, do you? Well, look, you know,
Nobody
the kids,
here.
You know, I'm sorry. I know I keep getting Sailor, Trip, Trig, Track, whatever. You know, but looking back on it now, hindsight being 2020. Do you still feel good about that? and the answer is a resounding no. We dodged a bullet with that one.
Lefty, what finally happened after you were handcuffed by the state police? And you and Mel.
It's not fun.
Tell us your black experience.
Yeah, it was my first black experience, and I didn't like it. Losing my white privilege. I lost my white privilege. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I want my white privilege back.
Yeah.
But they handcuffed you because they smelled marijuana in the car?
Well, they didn't say that. They said step out of the car. I step out of the car. He handcuffed me.
Wow.
Brought me back to his car, and I said, "Why are you arresting me, sir?" He says, "I smell marijuana." I said, "Well, I have a marijuana card," and he said, "Well, you should have said something before." I'm like, "Well, I didn't know," and I said, "You'd walk me 20 feet to your car without my cane. I needed my cane to walk, so there's a lot of things you didn't say to me that I should have told you too. So yeah, you didn't say you smelled marijuana when you first pulled me over, or I would have told you I have a card." So, what a pain in the ass. But that card was worth its money yesterday. That $1,200 and that year waiting was worth it.
Oh wow. Yeah. Hey. You know, I got my card a few months ago.
Wait,
and
medical marijuana card?
Yes. Yeah.
Woo!
You're a card-holding patient.
Card-holding patient.
Leo, I'm learning new stuff about you every day.
When I said
Let's go burn, bro. Let's go burn.
Hey, when I say I insulate myself so that no matter who comes at me or what have you.
Do you dab,
you know,
bro?
Yeah, good for you, Leo.
I haven't.
You're going to dab today, bro.
Oh my God! We will help you with that.
I've never tried it. Yeah. I've heard good things though. I've heard many good things. Yes.
We're going to joint. Me and you. Well, we're going to joint.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But
America.
again,
It is possible to overdose on marijuana, and
Yes.
And
sometimes
it's fun.
Sometimes dabbing can make you uncomfortably high. I mean, you're not going to hurt yourself. You know, you're not going to. You know, you're not going to kill. You can never kill yourself by
No.
using too much marijuana.
No, you'll be fine.
You know,
You
but
know-
you can make
Let
yourself.
a Maris stab you
uncomfortably
out.
high,
let me
and-
describe this
Don't
for you.
let him prepare it for you.
For a few years, right? Listen to this. For a few years, I lived in Naples, Italy, right? So then my cousin LeSean was in Germany. He was stationed in Germany. Our cousin Dawn lived in Amsterdam.
Oh, boy.
And she was contracted by the government because they have public health, free public health.
Yeah.
And she, they needed her for her expertise on something, and she ended up staying there for some years. So for a number of years, my cousins and I were bouncing from each other's houses. So we would go to Amsterdam for the Queen's birthday and all that stuff, and that's when I really got to learn the proper way of how to smoke, the science behind it, sitting down and going to a seed bank and talking to them about the strains and what does this mean and how does the difference between the sativa and the indica. I literally, and so what I ended up, when I started working as a DOD contractor in Iraq, what I would do is I would fly, when I was coming home, I would come home for a month once a year. It's what contributed to my first marriage ending. Because we were married for 5 and I was gone for 4 out of the 5.
Wow.
Yeah, and when I came home, at the end of my contract, because the SOFA agreement between the United States and Iraq was not renewed. When I came home, we ended up getting a divorce because we found out we were just two very different people. It happens. It's okay. Yeah. My ex-wife and I, we're cool. We have a 9-year-old son. He's in Atlanta now. He'll be moving here when he turns 11 to come live with dad, because we figure 11 is the age where little boys are really going to start needing their dad, because we go through the changes, hair, voice, and girls. So he's really going to need dad. So what I would do is the 1 month that I would come home, I always came home Thanksgiving, because I knew that the Cannabis Cup was always the same week as Thanksgiving. Even though Thanksgiving is an American holiday, and the Cannabis Cup would go for a week from Sunday to Sunday. So I would fly into Skypool on Friday, Saturday. I'd get my judge's pass. I'd pay for a judge's pass, and I'd stay till Wednesday, judging, all that stuff, because you can smoke. And
what years were you there? What years were you there?
This was 2009, 2010, 2011, 2000, every year.
No, I was there in the 90s.
Okay, yeah. So
Dan and I went 1 year.
So for me, and then when I was living when I lived in Europe, that was from 2004, 5 to 2008. So it was and mind you, I spent time in Russia. I spent time in Turkey. I was the one who first established communications on the first Turkish naval battleship when they took over as the SMG-2 battle group.
Good end.
Yeah, good end.
So it's like my journey has been one of lots and lots of adventures, and mind you, Lefty, this isn't even half. This is the ones I can carry.
Well, as a fellow Trenton resident, Leo, I'm really glad that you're here now, and I welcome you back to Trenton. And,
thank you.
So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And I'm about to leave, but I just want to tell, when I said yesterday, and I'm gonna say it again, Trenton, New Jersey, Trenton, and to the state of New Jersey, I love you.
Hey, Trenton makes the world takes.
I love you, and I have loved you from afar so deeply. I like everything that I want nothing but the best. I want to see people see their kids grow. I want that. I want to see this. I want to live in a state where the next time a governor walks by a decorated combat veteran, he won't just keep on going like he did today.
Took the proverbial shit on your medals. That's what he did. Yeah, pretty much.
But that's okay.
No, it's not okay. Yeah. It's not okay. To me, it's not. I'm sick of this guy doing that to people, doing it to kids, doing it to patients, parents. Mm-hmm. I've seen what he did the last 8 years or whatever. How many years he's been in office? I've seen what he's done. I've seen parents suffer because that he's killed their children. Mm-hmm. I mean, he killed Sabina Rose. He killed that girl. I'll say it. I'll say it every week. He killed that girl. Mm-hmm. And he walks by here like nothing happened. Well, no, something did happen. I'm sorry, Governor. Mm-hmm. Blood money? Yeah, let's talk about blood money, Governor. Mm-hmm. For real. Mm-hmm.
But the thing, guess what? He ain't gonna talk to you.
No, he's gonna listen. He'll listen. That 20 seconds he's gotta walk in there, he's gonna listen to me. Mm-hmm. He's gonna listen.
It's affecting. We gotta affect the bottom line. That's all.
Yeah.
If you can affect the bottom line, you can. Then you get people's attention. And so when I go to the city council meeting today,
Are you going today?
Yeah, I'm going.
Nice.
I'm going. And I was telling Lefty earlier, I don't have any intentions on going to the mic and saying anything or whatever. Mm-hmm. But when the time comes and I do decide to speak, I will go to the mic.
Well, give me your contact information. If you have an email, and I'll send you the resolution that we sent to Trenton. And maybe you can talk to them about.
Well, the thing is that I had Lefty laughing about this. I said, yeah, I'm going to stand to the mic, and I'm going to look at the city council, and then I'm going to turn my back to them and start talking to the people in that room.
I think you should roll a joint legally while you're standing there. Just roll one up
and tell them, and then do like this and tell them. Now these people here, the ones you hired.
Oh boy.
Do that, because I was explaining, I'm their boss.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm their boss,
and
I expect, and there's a certain response and level of I expect. And when you don't give it to me, I'm going to tell you, you failed at your job, and now it's time for you to. We need to go have a conversation for you to go.
Leo,
Guys,
you are the
thank
man.
you for having me,
Thank you
man.
so much,
this
dude.
was great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, and to your listeners out there, everything that I said, please take out the word. If you're not from Trenton, take out the word Trenton and just substitute it with the name of your city or town. It's the same message, and the plan works for everybody. You just can't say you're a capital city.
That's
like
right.
I can.
I want to thank our sponsors also from magicalbutter.com, medical-freedom.com. Magicalbutter.com gives away machines every month for us. They give us a machine to give away to sick kids or parents or patients, whoever needs one, and we give one away. It's a great thing. Hang on, we have a song. You want to sing with me? Magical butter makes your recipes better. Come on, Ken. Magical butter makes your recipes better. Magical butter makes your recipes. Yes! I got Ken Wolski to sing, man. What a great day. What a great day. Yes, Ken Wolski, you're the best. Thank you, Ken. You're the man. Magical butter, man. Eat to treat. It makes your recipes better. Brownies, cookies, smoothies, sauces, soups, vegetables, candies, salad dressings for your tossed salad, seafoods, marinades, meats, beverages, lotions, much, much more. Call magicalbutter.com at 1-800-424-334. Get your Magical Butter machine. I want to thank our American refugees, Vivian Wilson, Brian Wilson, Megan Wilson, Jackson Storms, Sarah, Diane, Claudia. Tuffy's Fight, JacksonStorms.com, DavidVersusAutism.org, CMMNJ.org, SativaCross.com, NewJerseyWeedman.com, Jenny's Purple Ribbon Journey, Jenna's Journey, Prayers for Pete, Prayers for Sarah, Tuffy's Fight, Tuffy's Fight, Tuffy's Fight. Did I get them all? I think I got them all. I love the cowbell. We need more cowbell. All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back on. Actually, the Secret Sesh is tomorrow night. We'll be podcasting live from the Secret Sesh tomorrow night, smoking mad dabs. Right now, we're heading down to the joint with Leo to give him his first dab ever.
Not until you do the ode to. Why don't I remember the name?
Remembrance.
Ode to Remembrance, and I can't remember Remembrance. Oh.
Well,
walked into that one head first.
Yeah,
huh?
you set yourself up there.
No, I like that though. It keeps the mood where it belongs at the end, you know.
Yeah. So this actually goes out to your late wife, Cheryl, who has inspired me to keep my activism going all these years. And man, amazing woman. Cheryl knew that she wouldn't see medical cannabis in her lifetime, but she still fought for you. She fought for you.
She didn't wait. She didn't wait for permission though. She allowed me to take good care of her.
Yep.
But
so take advantage of what Cheryl has done. Cheryl has done this for you. So don't sit back and do nothing. Do something. Because Cheryl did all this on her bed, being pushed around New Jersey on a bed, sick as a dog, dying. And she did all this for you. So the least you could do is get off your butt and get out here to Trenton or something. Just do something. Really. Smoke a joint.
Yeah.
It's 420.
Hey, you know what? The simple message is, if Cheryl could show up, anybody could show up.
There you go.
It's as simple as that. That there is nobody less likely to show up that I know, maybe ever, than her. And she always let me do whatever it took.
Yeah.
And I always did whatever it took. You should have seen us travel anywhere. We never just got there. It was a process that began days before.
Mm-hmm.
So in remembrance to those who passed.
I want to thank Cheryl and Sabina Rose, Diane Ripatella, Marie from Pennsylvania, Gracie, Cindy May, many more.
Just and growing. And 1 out of 10 medical marijuana patients registered in the state last year died last year.
Yeah.
Just for them too.
1 out of 10. 640-something patients died last year. But, most of the patients are terminal. They're very, the sickest of the sick.
We do this for them. They have a voice. Still.
So with that, we'll see you tomorrow night at the Secret Sesh. Tune in tomorrow around 7:10. We'll be on the air from Newark. Are you coming to the Secret Sesh? Okay. I know. Am I? No, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't know.
Please give me a ride. I don't want to take the train to Newark.
All right.
I get out of work at 3:30.
Okay, we'll talk about this.
I work too.
All right, well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you tomorrow night. This is the Ode of Remembrance. Moment of silence for all the patients who had passed on. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them. We will remember them.